We be live. Shalom. Okay, let me see if I have this right. Why is this a upcoming? Okay, hello, Durud and Shalom. Monkey here.
Hello, Darud and Shalom.
And hola. You forgot the hola. Okay, I'll say the hola. I think Monkey is busy a little bit on the call. So let's just get, he's busy somewhere else, guys. Monkey will be back. But let's just get updated really fast before the
I'll be back in
Monkey
1
goes.
second.
Yeah, no worries. No rush. Take your time. But let's switch this.
The Secretary of State warning overnight that Iranian control of the Strait of Hormuz would set a very bad precedent as U.S. forces conduct their 11th night of strikes in Iran.
Trey Ying's live in Tel Aviv with the details. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Another night of heavy U.S. strikes hammered Iran, this time the target list expanding. Reports indicate deeper strikes into Iranian territory as the
Look at that. Why would you just put that out there? What are these? Are these missiles?
Another night of heavy U.S. strikes hammered Iran, this time the target list expanding. Reports indicate deeper
What the hell? Do you just leave that
hammered
out?
Iran,
Look at it.
this time the target
Bro,
list
bro.
expanding. Reports indicate
Look at that. What is that? Are these just munitions sitting out there ready for the Americans to just take out? That's just too easy. That is just too easy.
deeper strikes into Iranian territory as the United States works to secure the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM released a statement saying over the past 3 months, Iran has attacked more than 30 commercial vessels transiting the international waterway, vital for regional and global trade. The unwarranted attacks have endangered hundreds of innocent mariners and undermined freedom of navigation. The strait remains largely at a standstill, with just 3 commercial vessels passing through on Tuesday, according to Kepler shipping data. The other area of focus is still what remains of Iran's nuclear program that President Trump says will be targeted in the days ahead.
Follow the material. That's where the action is. And we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that.
So he's talking, guys, for people who didn't are not up to date from yesterday. He's talking about Pickaxe Mountain. He's saying that President Trump yesterday just mentioned that they're going to be hitting it. Pickaxe Mountain is the 4th main enrichment of uranium facility that the Islamic Republic has. 3 of them have already been destroyed during Operation Midnight Hammer, which happened on June 2025. The 4th one is at the Pickaxe Mountain, which is the reason why they didn't attack it last year, was because they had dug the hole. The facility was prepared, but the centrifuges were not there yet, so it didn't make sense to bomb it, but they are there now, according to Israeli intelligence. The problem with Pickaxe Mountain is that it's a lot deeper, and some people argue that U.S. bunker busters will not be able to reach that low. We don't know 100% if that's true. It might be true, but there are other ways to get there. So there are 4 ways to deal with Pickaxe Mountain, which we're not going to go over it right now because we want to get updated with the news. But President Trump is saying that they're going to bomb them, and there's nothing the Islamic Republic can do about it. So we'll see what happens.
If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
While both the United States and Iran have left open the door for a diplomatic solution, no breakthrough has been reached yet, despite efforts from Qatar and Pakistan. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said this week Iran is not serious about talks right now.
The problem we're having right now is that they're not serious about talks. If they're serious, we're serious. If they're not, then we will do what is necessary to protect that, our interests.
By the way, guys, ask your questions in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on the questions. If you have any questions, I will try to keep an eye on them and answer them.
Talks right now.
The problem we're having right now.
Oh, somebody's saying an entrance. Okay, so yeah, you could. So here, see, there's a question for Pickaxe Mountain. Somebody's asking, can you bomb the entrances? Yes, bombing the entrances is easy, and it would temporarily stop access of the Islamic Republic to these facilities. It is useful to bomb the entrances to make them not usable. It's not a permanent solution because then you have to constantly be there and constantly just keep closing and just keeping an eye on them to just keep constantly closing the entrances all the time. But the facility will be there for when for presidents to change, strategies to change, for them to go back and reopen the entrances and get access to their facility. The only permanent solution, I'm just going to say that the only permanent solution is regime change.
Now is that they're not serious about talk. If they're serious, we're serious. If they're not, then we will do what is necessary to protect that, our interest, and also the interest of our allies.
We do know the Iranians are continuing their counterattacks targeting Kuwait overnight. Also, the Jordanians say just in the last hour, 6 Iranian missiles were fired toward the southern city of Aqaba. This is taking place as the Department of War has released the name of the 4th U.S. soldier killed over the weekend. The name, Angel S. Rampersad, 28 years old, from New York. President Trump will attend the dignified transfer of the 4 soldiers killed over the weekend. That will take place later this morning.
Be sure to.
So okay, let me see. I see some questions here. Good. Will is saying, why bother with pickaxe? Just get the uranium when the new leadership is in power. Unless IRGC leadership is in that mountain. Why bother with pickaxe? Just
Well,
get the
pickaxe has
uranium.
centrifuges, right? That's how you make more uranium. You
Let
don't
me-
want them to make more.
Yeah, I will answer it first, and let me just go through the answer. So yeah, exactly what the monkey said. So I think what Will means is do regime change. That's what Will is saying, which I agree with. But that might take longer than necessary, and you want to make sure that in the meantime, because I think when the new leadership is in power, you're saying when basically if you mean just do regime change and bring Princess of Pahlavi in power, and then just deal with them, and they will have. Princess of Pahlavi has committed 100% to an Iran that is not enriching uranium or basically weaponizing with nuclear weapons. So that is the ultimate solution. I completely agree with that. By the way, Monkey's mouth is moving even though his microphone is off. So I 100% agree with that. But again, because that's a long process, you do need to make sure that in the meantime, the Islamic Republic is not able to enrich uranium, because then they could make dirty bombs or spread this across the Middle East and maybe even to other places like North America. Like you could get this enriched uranium and spread it around the world. So in the meantime, you have to make sure that they're not enriching more uranium, right? So that's the answer to that.
There's also a time issue. Like even if it takes a little while for a new regime to come in, they can, if they learn how to spin up pretty fast and they have any kind of material, let's say they saved in some corner some of that 60%, and they were able to get that in there in those centrifuges, to get from 60 to 90, 95, 98, which is what you need for a big bomb. It's not that much time. It's a lot more time to get from 0 to 60 than it is to get from 60 to 90, just to give you an example. And it's not like it's not equivalent. It's like way less time, which is why they would want to hit the centrifuges now and can't wait for a regime change to hit it.
Right. We got another. Okay, so what about a 5 kiloton nuke? Nuke is probably off the table. Very probably off the table. For many reasons. Even tactical nukes are off the table, because if you normalize using them, then one of the many reasons is that Russia then would be starting to use them against Ukraine, right? It's a huge red line by the whole West for nobody to start using nukes. And if that red line is removed by President Trump, then that red line would not exist for. I know people are like, oh, Armin, you think that Putin is just waiting for a moral argument, so like they would do whatever they can. So no, I know Putin will do whatever it can do, but because the understanding of Putin is that if I use tactical nukes, this is such a big red line that it will unite the Western world more aggressively against me. That's why they're hesitant in using the tactical nukes. If tactical nukes are used by the Americans, that red line would be removed, and it would not be as much of a taboo, and it would basically make Russia. It would basically get both Putin and the CCP more aggressively leaning to using tactical nukes. This being a taboo to be used internationally, it has its utility.
There is another point to that kind of weaponry used at a ground level is very different than an airburst. it would definitely cause a lot of damage locally for a very long time.
Yeah, it's true. I do know if it goes down deep enough, it could be limited, especially given that these
No, but it would
facilities are
explode
in the middle of
outwards. Like
let me
if
finish
you,
let me finish my sentence before you respond. Especially given that these facilities are away from civilian areas. But I understand what you're saying. But go on.
the thing is that radiological dust, like it wouldn't just it would take all that ground, upend it into the air, and it would be radioactive. So it would go into the clouds. It would explode outwardly for miles and miles and miles. It wouldn't be localized. It'd be many, many miles of radioactive dust, because even if you hit a hole, it's compressed in there. The explosion has nowhere to go. So it would just open outward and upward and take all that radioactive dust that it's creating, because it would be turning all that dirt radioactive and exploding it outwards. So it's a terrible option if that's your goal. I would rather hit 10 GBUs and on top of the other until you keep digging and digging and digging by putting one bomb on top of the other and just loosening the dirt and keep going down than I would do a nuke.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so we got a good question here from Emma. Emma saying, why do you think the Islamic Republic hasn't shut the internet off yet? Multiple reasons. First of all, they usually shut down the internet when they fear an imminent uprising. Right now they don't. Right now there are signs that the Iranian people will eventually have an uprising, but it's not imminent. It's not like it needs time to build up. So that's one. So the cutting of the internet is to stop the communication ability between the people who are basically the two reasons: mobilization of the uprising will slow down, and also the world not seeing what the Islamic Republic is doing to the uprising by shutting down the internet. So given that there is no uprising right now, and so that's why that's the reason number one. Reason number two, shutting down the internet would be a signal nationally inside Iran that things are really, really bad. Situation is really horrible. The Islamic Republic is desperately trying to communicate internally that this is fine, like we can deal with this. It's not a big deal. We could handle this. So shutting down the internet would be the opposite of that. Third reason, I mean, there are more reasons, but these are the ones that come up in my mind right now. Third reason is that the IRGC has a big portfolio of giant companies inside Iran, because that monopolizes in Iran. As soon as a private company gets big, the IRGC comes in and takes it over and basically adds it to its own portfolio. And so many of these big companies that the IRGC has, they make money with the online, right? So for example, the version of Uber Eats in Iran, the version of Amazon in Iran, the version of so many different companies, internet companies in Iran, they make a lot of money, and they, so and there are segments of IRGCs that own those companies, and with that, the internet, they're not making any money. So those are the reasons. But I know there are more. These are the ones that come up to my mind. Okay, let's
Yes.
get another. Yeah. Okay, let's get another update here.
I'm Shannon Breen. This is America's Newsroom. Those U.S. casualties are the result of renewed fighting between the U.S. and Iran. U.S. forces have bombed Iran for 11 straight nights. The campaign's focused on military targets around the Strait of Hormuz, but could soon be expanding.
So President Trump saying the U.S. will soon strike the fortified site known as Pickaxe Mountain. Israel reportedly believes that Iran is hiding centrifuges there, recently moved, they believe. The U.S. calls the nuclear Iran a non-starter. Here is Marco Rubio from the Philippines earlier today.
We think that a nuclear-armed Iran is an unacceptable thing. It can't happen. And that's what they were going to do if they hid behind this conventional shield that they were building. And the president just was going to stand by and allow that to happen. As far as the impact it's had on the global economy, I mean, Iran is targeting global shipping and international waterway and demanding to control which ships can go and which ones cannot. That just is unacceptable. We're not going to accept that.
Trey Yanks is reporting live from Tel Aviv. And Trey, we've got new word from the president this morning.
Yeah, Shannon, good morning. Just moments ago, President Trump issued a new warning to Iran. He posted on Truth Social saying from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Overnight, Iran launched new attacks in the Gulf, targeting both Kuwait and Bahrain with drones. Earlier this morning, the Jordanians also reported incoming Iranian fire. Missiles were intercepted near the southern city of Aqaba, with explosions heard over the border in southern Israel. This does come after another night of heavy U.S. strikes that hammered the Iranians. This time, the target list expanded. Reports indicate far deeper strikes inside of Iranian territory, along with a variety of positions along the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM released a statement saying over the past 3 months, Iran has attacked more than 30 commercial vessels transiting the international waterway, vital for regional and global trade. The unwarranted attacks have endangered hundreds of innocent mariners and undermined freedom of navigation. The strait remains largely at a standstill, with just 9 vessels passing through on Tuesday, according to updated Kepler shipping data. The other area of focus still remains Iran's nuclear program and what remains of it, specifically Pickaxe Mountain that sits next to the Natanz nuclear facility. Reports do indicate Iran moves centrifuges into the tunnels of the mountain, and President Trump says the area will be targeted in the days ahead.
We follow the material. That's where the
So here's a good question. Somebody in the chat is saying, do we know how the centrifuges got to Pickaxe Mountain? And do we know they don't have them elsewhere? No and no. But
Well,
really
probably
good
satellite
questions.
imagery. There's
Let
only
me
one entrance.
let me finish. Randy, let me finish my sentence before you get in. I will let you know, okay, when I'm finished. Let me go back. So let me read the question again then, because I lost my train of thought. Saying, do we know how the centrifuges got to Pickaxe Mountain, and do we know they don't have them elsewhere? So yeah, there are multiple options, as Mikey was just saying, probably this and this and that. But this is what we do know. This is what we do know. There are many different ways so that they might figure it out. Like, we know Israelis have agents on the ground. Mossad agents are on the ground inside Iran. They are within the decision making. Some of the highest ranking officials within the Islamic Republic are Mossad agents. Highest ranking. So many of these decisions that are made. So this is what I'm guessing, but we don't know for sure. Many of the highest highest ranking people that are involved in the decision making process within the Islamic Republic are Mossad agents. So many of these things being moved around will eventually, they will know, and they will pass it on to Israel, and Israel passes it on to United States. So I say, do we know they have them elsewhere? So no, we don't know for sure, but probably yes, because the Islamic Republic itself knows that when they move the centrifuges there, the Israelis will figure out, and the Israelis will tell the United States. They know that, right? So they can't put all their eggs in one basket. We heard that there are thousands of the centrifuges over there, but we don't. This is what we heard reported, but we don't know how many thousands. We know that they had more before. We don't know how much of it was. Probably a lot of it was already destroyed during Operation Midnight Hammer. We don't know if this is a new generation or some of the older ones being moved around. But that's a very good question, and that is important. And I'm pretty sure Americans and Israelis have a lot more detail on that. But when I say we don't know for sure, it doesn't mean that the Israelis and the Americans don't know for sure. They probably do know much more detail than what I just gave you. Go on, Monkey.
They probably saw it from the sky, obviously. Do they have more? Who knows? But they probably saw it from the sky. That's kind of obvious.
Sorry, I thought you were finished. So I don't think if they saw it from the sky, because I do think that, well, let's just put them both out there, okay? I do think because they probably hide. They know the Islamic Republic knows everything is being monitored from the sky, so they put it in types of trucks that are mixed with other trucks for other transportation. There probably is hard to track what is being moved from where. You don't know if a truck is moving dirt, if another truck is moving something, other types of equipment. I do know from the sky they could see there's movement in the area, and you could guess that these are centrifuges. Obviously, that would be your guess, even though you can't see what is being carried out of the trucks. But I do think the final confirmation of what has been moved to that area and what's been moved inside being centrifuges and the numbers is because of agents and spies being within the system. That's what I think. But yes, but you're right. But you're right. You're correct to say that they match that with information that they have from satellites images from the sky. But go on.
The type of centrifuge you need for this is it's pretty big, and it's very particular, right? You may be able to hide it in trucks, maybe. But why would you put stuff into Pickaxe Mountain? You're basically trying to open it up, trying to get stuff out. If there's anything that's going to go in, it's either uranium, which we can monitor, or centrifuges. It leaves very limited options on what you want to put in Pickaxe. Just by logical deduction. What?
Or digging equipment.
Well, it's pretty well dug in, right? You digging equipment, it's kind of obvious to see what digging equipment is. So if you're putting anything that's in boxes, anything that's covered up, you're going to think that's not uranium, because we can detect that from very far away. It has to be the centrifuges. Like, you could have added intelligence to it, but the second I see 5 trucks go in there, I'm bombing it.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. We got a question here saying, Liberty Politics, I don't like to jump the guns, but are there any solid evidence regarding U.S. leaning towards regime change rather than other options? No. Okay. So most of it is based on most of the analysis here is based on people's understanding of what their understanding is of what President Trump wants, what works for the United States. But solid evidence, as in a direct evidence that comes from the source itself, rather than hearsay or indirect, like media reports from anonymous, because we do have, for example, a lot of media reports right now with anonymous sources saying that the White House is going back to working on regime change, right? But regime change being the goal, I would actually say that no, there is no direct evidence for that, but it doesn't really matter. What we do have direct evidence for is that United States just moving towards what they do want, what the goal is for the Islamic Republic not to have nuclear weapons. So what gives me a reassurance is that I know the Americans have good intelligence. I know Americans have good analysts, and I know that they know, at least the analysts, and not the politicians, but the good intelligence officers and the analysts that are, behind the scenes in Washington D.C. They know that there is no way to do that other than regime change, and one way or another that will eventually get America to focus on that. Not for America itself to do regime change, right? But for the Iranian people to do regime change. Like, it is obviously. So here's the thing. The way I look at it is that obviously the White House has all the options on the table. Their goal is to make sure that the Islamic Republic doesn't get nuclear weapons. Obviously, the regime change option is always on the table, and it's the most ideal option. That they want that, okay? They want that because that is obviously make is their number one enemy of the United States, and the Islamic Republic falling and becoming and having a government over there that is an ally of the United States. Why wouldn't you want that, right? The thing that you have to be dealing with is that your priority should be serving, making sure that the the Islamic Republic doesn't have nuclear weapons, and also doing it in a way that the American voting base, American citizens are happy with the way that you're conducting yourself, doing what you're doing, right? But the thing is that there is no way to do this other than regime change. It's not the responsibility of Americans to do regime change, but given that they have seen that regime change by the Iranian people is possible, and given that that's the only permanent solution to the Islamic Republic becoming a nuclear, one way or another, whatever they're doing is moving us to that direction. Whether that's an immediate plan or a longer term plan, or even if it's not a plan, weakening the Islamic Republic and pushing against them and constantly economically putting pressure on them, ideologically putting pressure on them, and militarily pushing pressure on them for them not to get nuclear weapons eventually is going to get us to regime change by the Iranian people. Because what we do know is that as long as the Islamic Republic is around, they're not going to give up on pursuing nuclear weapon. So as you need to be more worried about, you need to be more monitoring what the Americans are doing rather than worrying about whether the regime change option is directly part of their plan. And what they're doing is weakening the Islamic Republic, which one way or another would lead to them falling to an uprising by the Iranian people. That's the way I see it. Monkey, do you want to say anything to that?
What I would say is that the way it's looking right now is that it's going to be weakened to the point where the IRGC has no foot to stand on. If they don't have any physical locations, if the power is turned off, if the water is cut, the people will have no choice but to rebel, right? No one wants to let it reach that place. I think the first point where it's going to be at a breaking point is if power plants are hit. If you hit all the power plants and turn off all the power, and after you have blown up all their bases, they're not going to have an option. You take out all their bases, you take up all the equipment, even the civilian police equipment, and you take out their police stations. Try to not hit the jail because the people in there are probably innocent, but try to hit the police stations themselves. You're already hitting a lot of IRGC bases are being hit, barracks are being hit. If you destroy all their military structure and all their police infrastructure, they don't have a way to go after the people, and the people themselves will rise up.
Right. And Kevin, thank you so much. Kevin just got a membership gift. By the way, Monkey, completely agree with that, 100%. Also, what would help with that is arming the Iranian people. That's also another thing that Americans could do to get rid of their own enemy once and for all. And Kevin, thank you. Me and Monkey agree on that 100%. And then you start this comment, I think. Oh no, I started, I think. But
yes,
I don't know who started. But do you want to respond to it? You want to read that first?
Yes, Catch Drone says, shouldn't USA attack the centrifuges when they're on the way to Pickaxe Mountain? No, because you don't know how many are on the way. You have to wait till they stop putting stuff in and they say, okay, apparently it's all in there, and then hit it. Like you might leave half of them outside. You don't want them to have any centrifuges. So you wait till okay, it seems like they're stopped. They must be installing it in there. Let's wait till they're all in there and then hit it.
Yeah, somebody's saying rise up without arms impossible. Yeah, I do agree that I think that it's better if the Iranian people get armed before they do the Nukes uprising, but it's not up to us. But I don't know. I don't know about whether we should. If you wait until they're deep down inside, then they're harder to target. It might have been a smart move to get at least the Mossad agents to just hunt these down wherever they are and just blow them up in different places as they're being transported. But I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Here's the thing, guys. What I do know is that whatever is the best thing to do, the Israelis and Americans intelligence know that better than us, and they're putting those suggestions on their desk of Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump all the time. So that's what I do know. So we over here thinking about what the best strategy is. We're dealing with very limited information. So we also have to consider that. Okay, let's continue with this.
Action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon. and very heavily.
While both the United States and Iran have left open the door for a diplomatic solution, no breakthrough has been reached yet, despite efforts from Qatar and Pakistan. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said earlier today that
we already saw this. President Trump posted this just a few hours ago. Let's look at it. Monkey, do you want to? By the way, Monkey, if you want me to read it, I'll read it. But I just thought you'd like to read these. Let me know if you like to read these. This is from President Trump, just posted recently. Monkey? Okay, I think Monkey is on the phone.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Okay, Monkey is on the phone. That's why. So it's okay. I was just like, do you like reading these? Because I think you like reading these. Should you want-
Right now, I would rather you read it out. Like I'm reading it over here, right?
Okay, I'll read it.
From this point forward,
guys-
anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at
I'll read it.
straight of.
It's okay.
Okay,
It's
read
okay. I'll read it. Guys, Monkey is a bit busy with the phone call, so it's okay. I know he's in and out. Okay, President Trump just posted this recently, saying from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant. Holy crap! Including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, holy crap, guys! What do you guys think in the chat? That is escalation to the nth degree. That is major escalation. Major escalation. What do you guys think? Let me see in the chat. No, do you guys think that this was going to happen? We already see. We already see it in the video. No. Let me see what he said. Let me see him directly. Sorry, guys. I know it was in the video, but I was like highlighting your comments when I was doing that. But let me see President Trump himself.
investigation as to how they were killed in Jordan.
No, they're doing that. That'll be released.
There was a report
You know what?
that it was Iran targeting barracks.
I don't know. Well, they're going to pay a big price. They're being decimated.
They're being decimated. Wait, let me see. Let me read the caption here so we could go through this. In President Trump and Iran, they are going to pay a big price. They're getting decimated. Okay, so big words. I think this might suggest that something is about to happen. Something big is about to happen. What do you guys think? Or is it just the same as, like, you know how one time he said, like, oh, we're going to be destroying power plants and bridges within a couple of hours, and then 1 hour before the deadline he stopped? Is this one of those, or is this another sign that something big is right about to happen? So here's another sign that something big might be happening soon. Started saying, why is Israel so quiet? What is Bibi planning? Yeah, so Israel being quiet might be a sign that they're planning something big, because that's what happened last time. Right before the 40-day war, Operation Epic Fury and Roaring Lion, Israel was very quiet for a long time before it happened. So Israel being quiet might suggest that this time also we're going to see something similar happening. Tin Lee with the super chat saying the Crown Press posted a video. You check it. Let me see. We did play it yesterday. I don't know. Is there something new? Thank you for letting me know. Let me see. Oh, no, this is from 5 hours ago. Okay, yep. Thank you for telling me. Okay, new video from 5 hours ago from Princess of Pahlavi. Let me go to that one first. Thank you for telling me.
همیهنانم ملت بزرگ و
Okay, so you guys want me to, let me know in the chat, do you want me to play it and you read the subtitles, or do you want me to read the English Do you want me to read the English caption that is basically the message in the video, or do you want to read the caption yourself in English? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me see. I will read another super chat. Let him speak. Okay. Read the English, please. Oh my God, you guys are saying both. Okay, how about I'll do both? Okay, I'll do both. I'll play it for you guys and then I'll read it. I'll do both, okay? So just go through it.
هم میهنانم ملت بزرگ و دلیر ایران، امروز با افزایش تنش‌ها و احتمال گسترش حملات به ویژه در جنوب کشور می‌خواهم با شما سخن بگویم. به ویژه با مردم شریف سیستان و بلوچستان، هرمزگان، بوشهر، خوزستان و همه ساکنان سواحل خلیج فارس و دریای مکران. جنگ و بحرانی که امروز کشور ما با آن روبروست تنها یک باعث و بانی دارد: رژیم جمهوری اسلامی. اما جنگ اصلی، یعنی جنگ جمهوری اسلامی علیه ملت ایران، 47 سال پیش آغاز شد و تا امروز ادامه یافته است. همه ملت ایران از این رژیم زخم خوردند. نگذاریم بگویند که جنوب ایران تازه وارد جنگ شده است. جنوب ایران از همان روزی وارد جنگ شد که کودکان بلوچ به دلیل نبود آب آشامیدنی و زیرساخت‌های اولیه قربانی گاندوها شدند. از روزی که در سیستان و بلوچستان، سرزمین رستم و قلب اسطوره‌های ایران، جوانان برای تأمین معاش ناچار به سوخت‌بری شدند. از روزی که استان هرمزگان و بندرعباس، بزرگترین بندر ایران، در فقر و محرومیت رها شدند. از روزی که بوشهر، تأمین کننده بخش بزرگی از گاز کشور، و خوزستان، قلب صنعت نفت ایران، خود از ثروتشان بی بهره ماندند. اما ایران آزاد ایرانی متفاوت خواهد بود. با استقرار دولتی ملی، کارآمد و توسعه‌گرا، سیستان و بلوچستان می‌تواند با تکیه بر موقعیت راهبردی، نیروی انسانی جوان و دسترسی به آب‌های آزاد به یکی از موتورهای اصلی رشد و شکوفایی کشور تبدیل شود. چابهار می‌تواند قلب تجارت ایران و دروازه اتصال اقیانوس هند، آسیای مرکزی و بازارهای جهانی باشد. با بروزرسانی همان برنامه جامعی که پیش از فاجعه 57 قرار بود اجرا شود. هرمزگان، بوشهر، خوزستان و جزایر خلیج فارس می توانند با توسعه تجارت، گردشگری، صنعت و جذب سرمایه‌گذاری به ثروتمندترین و پیشرفته‌ترین مناطق ایران بدل شوند. هم میهنانم، این رژیم جنگ افروز نه برای مردم پناهگاهی ساخته است و نه توان دفاع از آسمان کشور را دارد. سردمداران آن در حالی که زیر زمین پنهان شده اند، از مدارس، بیمارستانها و دیگر مراکز غیر نظامی استفاده نظامی می کنند و مردم ایران از جمله سربازان وظیفه را در پادگانها به سپر انسانی تبدیل کردند. در جنگی که جمهوری اسلامی بر کشور تحمیل کرده است، نخستین و مهمترین وظیفه شما حفظ جان، امنیت و سلامت خود و خانواده هایتان است. زیرا شما سرمایه ایران و سربازان واقعی نبرد برای بازپسگیری میهن هستید. در همین ارتباط، دفتر ارتباطات و رسانه من توصیه‌ها و راهنمایی‌های لازم را برای افزایش امنیت هم‌میهنان منتشر خواهد کرد. مبارزه و کسب آمادگی برای پیروزی نهایی یک وظیفه همیشگی است. در نبرد نهایی هر قدر ما توانمندتر و جمهوری اسلامی ضعیفتر باشد، پیروزی سریعتر و کم هزینه‌تر به دست خواهد آمد. پاینده ایران.
Okay, let me now read it for you guys. Monkey, why are you angry? Is Monkey angry? Monkey's angry. Are you there, Monkey? I think he's not. Like he's just on his call today. Monkey? He's not today. He's not here. Okay, let me. Given he's not here, maybe I should for now put him. I shouldn't say put him down because people think I'm saying something about the monkey that I'm not. Okay, I will remove him from the studio for now. Monkey, message me. Monkey, are you here? Monkey. No, he's not here. Okay, so I'll put him down here, and maybe you could message me in the private chat because he's just angry. I'm kind of scared of the monkey being angry. Okay, let me just read this. Scary monkey. All right, let me just read this for you guys. It's saying, my fellow Iranians, the great and courageous people of Iran, today as tensions rise and the possibility of escalating military attacks grows. So guys, remember Prince Reza Pahlavi last time he talked as if there's going to be escalating military attacks. Then right after it did happen. Right after he came up with a message for the Iranian people to prepare, suggesting that maybe there's something about to happen. Something is happening, and then right after something happened. So now I don't know what information Prince Reza Pahlavi has that the rest of us don't, but right now he's talking again as if something big is about to happen. So does that mean that we're about to go into the third war between United States and Islamic Republic, the third phase of this war? So it's saying, so again, look at this. Today, as tensions rise and the possibility of escalating military attacks grow, particularly in the south of the country, I wish to speak with you, especially with the noble people of Sistan of Baluchistan, Hormuzgan, Bushehr, Khuzestan, and all those living along the shores of the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Makran. So, guys, these are the provinces in southern Iran. The war and crisis our country faces today has one single cause: the Islamic Republic. But the main war, the Islamic Republic's war against the Iranian people, began 47 years ago and has continued to this day. All of the Iranian people have been wounded by this regime. Let us not allow anyone to say that southern Iran has only now entered the war. Southern Iran entered the war from the very day that Baluch children fell victim to crocodiles seeking water due to a lack of basic infrastructure. From the day, by the way, that happens a lot in Sistan, Baluchistan. They go get water from, and they get eaten by crocodiles. Children over there is horrific. From the day that in Sistan and Baluchistan, the land of Rustam and the heart of Iran's mythology, young people were forced into fuel smuggling just to survive. From the day that Hormuzgan province and Bandar Abbas, Iran's largest port, were abandoned to poverty and deprivation. From the day that Bushehr, which supplies a large share of the country's gas, and Khuzestan, the heart of Iran's oil industry, were deprived of the wealth they produced. But a free Iran will be a different Iran, with the establishment of a national capable and development-oriented government. Sistan and Baluchistan, drawing on its strategic location, its young workforce, and its access to open waters, can become one of the main engines of the country's growth and responsibility. Chabahar can be the heart of Iran's trade and the gateway connecting the Indian Ocean, Central Asia, and global markets. by reviving the very same comprehensive plan that was to be implemented before the catastrophe of 1979. Hormuzgan, Bushehr, Khuzestan, and the islands of the Persian Gulf can, through the development of trade, tourism, industry, and the attraction of investment, become the wealthiest and most advanced regions of Iran. My fellow Iranians, this warmongering regime has built no shelters for the people, nor does it have the capacity to defend the country's skies. Its leaders hiding underground are making military use of schools, hospitals, and other civilian centers, and have turned the Iranian people, including conscript soldiers in their garrisons, into human shields. In the war that the Islamic Republic has imposed on the country, your first and most important duty is to preserve the lives, safety, and well-being of yourselves and your families, for you are Iran's most precious asset and the true soldiers of the battle to reclaim the homeland. In this regard, my communications and media office will be publishing necessary guidance and recommendations to help keep fellow Iranians safe. Fighting towards and preparing for ultimate victory is a constant duty. In the final battle, the stronger we are and the weaker the Islamic Republic becomes, the faster and less costly our victory will be. Long live Iran. Long live Iran, Javid Shah. What do you guys think? That was powerful. Okay. Let me see. We got some super chats here. Skyscraper saying, just tuning in. Thoughts on U.S. Saudi. By the way, thank you so much for the super chat. Thoughts on U.S. Saudi nuclear deal. I'm worried since this was previously only going to be given if Saudi normalized relationship with Israel. Yeah, that was disappointing. I don't know if it's going through or not. Let me see the details of that. This is basically is going to normalize access to nuclear. I mean, this is just basically one step away from basically normalizing everybody having nukes. I know this is going to be supposedly be for peaceful purposes, but this is not good. This is like, instead of getting the Islamic Republic to not have access to nuclear material, we're basically spreading it around. Let me see what here, let me give you a short summary of what's this. The United States has formally approved a Section 123 Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement with Saudi Arabia, decoupling nuclear technology access from any requirement from Riyadh to normalize relationship with Israel. Decoupling nuclear technology access from any requirement for Riyadh to normalize relationship with Israel. The policy shift grants Saudi Arabia potential domestic uranium enrichment capabilities, raising intense proliferation concerns among lawmakers and regional security observers across the Persian Gulf, while altering leverage against the regime in Iran. Here's why this is a bad idea, in my opinion. Saudi Arabia is not stable. I know it looks like they're stable. I know it looks like they have a lot of money, and there's concerts there, and there's like big business, and there's huge industry, and I don't know, sports team, and celebrities, and tourism, and modernization is happening there. But underneath all of that, there's so-called progress, there's so much tension. There is like a lot of gunpowder piling up, getting ready to explode. There's a lot of Islam, and I know it seems like on the surface level, the Saudis themselves are moving away from Islamic ideals, but underneath all of that, there's a lot of Islamic jihadi mindset that is not only waiting to come back, but waiting to come back with a vengeance. The situation that we have right now in Saudi Arabia is very much well, not completely, but to some extent similar to Iran before the 1979 revolution. We had modernization. We had closer and closer relationship with the West and the rest of the world. Underneath that, there was something that was not happy with that, and we don't have. It's not just the Wahhabis. We also have Muslim Brotherhood elements and Shia movements, networks within Saudi Arabia that are not that consider the Islam that consider the Saudis themselves to be a Zionists, basically an extension of global Zionism, and they're waiting for the day for them to be able to do an Islamic revolution. And because of all of that, and also because remember, Saudi Arabia's 2030 vision is not going very well. Things are improving in some areas, but the whole thing is very fragile, especially if oil prices, or like, think about this. Think about all of that Islamic tension that exists in Saudi Arabia waiting to explode. And think about the fact that Saudi Arabia is not ready for a huge drop in oil prices. If all of a sudden, because of some technological advancements, we find ways to preserve energy or find better like alternative sources of energy become really cheap and oil prices drop like a rock, then if the Saudi government goes bankrupt, then the whole country will go to chaos and we might see an Islamic uprising. And now you have enriched uranium in a country that is becoming another Islamic regime, another like aggressively anti-Western, anti-Israeli Islamic regime with access to not just enriched uranium, but enriched uranium enrichment facilities that continue enriching uranium. You don't give these countries access to stuff like that because you don't know the government that they have right now. They might be an ally, but what if they're not? But what if at some point things change? What if you have an Islamic revolution? What if what you give them today might, for example, Pakistan has nukes right now. The United States is forced to give Pakistan billions of dollars of aid every single year because if the Pakistan government collapse, now a country, it becomes like completely Islamized, and now a country that is completely Islamized and anti-West has access to nuclear weapons. That's why the United States gives billions of dollars of aid to the Pakistani military, so to be able to contain that. Now you're doing like we haven't learned our mistakes with the Pakistan. Now we're going to do the same thing with Saudi Arabia. It makes absolutely no sense. Do you guys agree with me? This is a bad idea. I don't know why Washington is doing this. I completely disagree with this. Do you guys agree with me that Washington shouldn't be doing this? Who here thinks that this is a bad idea? So the deal is set to, so maybe it won't be approved. Maybe maybe people are saying it's a show, and don't worry, Armin. President Trump knows that it's not going to get approved by Congress, right? Maybe that's the 5D chess move over here. It's saying the deal is set for congressional review under Section 123 of the U.S. Atomic Energy Act. Lawmakers from both parties are raising serious alarm over spreading enrichment capabilities throughout the Middle East without binding non-proliferation safeguards. And Israel's security concerns Israeli officials and security analysts have expressed deep anxiety that giving Saudi Arabia nuclear technology without full diplomatic normalization removes a vital political leverage point while increasing strategic unpredictability across the Persian Gulf and broader regions. So yeah, let me see if you guys agree with me or not. Yeah, not me. You don't agree? Yes, you agree? Okay, it's a bad move. People mostly agree. We can't trust any of them. Yep, okay, good. I mean, it's bad idea. I don't like it at all. Okay, Sarah doesn't like it. So most of you just agree with me that this is a bad move. Yeah. Yeah, somebody saying very bad idea. Also, 9/11 was mostly led by Saudis. True. Shana is saying it's a terrible idea. Okay. Yep. You're saying cannot trust any Islamic country, period. 100%. I mean, it's not based on trust. You shouldn't trust anybody in geopolitics. It's based on power, interests, and stability, right? And these countries, because they're Islamic, they're not going to have stability. And if there's an Islamic uprising, then the country that used to be your ally is now going to be against you, right? Here's another question. Luan is saying, I have a question with regards to the tanks heading towards Kuwait. Wouldn't the US be able to hit them while they are on the way? So that video is fake. That video that you're referring to is old. A lot of media, a lot of people are reporting it. It took me 5 minutes to find the older version of this. It took me 5 minutes. Like, go look at the stream that I have with Ali. Even some of the most trusted sources of news were playing that video of tanks going towards Kuwait from the Islamic Republic. It took me 5 minutes to show that this is a video from 2023, if I remember correctly. I'm not saying that the Islamic Republic is not considering ground operations on Kuwait. They are, but that video with those tanks were fake. PJ, thank you so much for the super chat saying, keep up the good work, Armin and Monkey. We will free the people of Iran. Yes, we will. All of us together with the Iranian people. And thank you for the super chat. Let me see. Star some comments over here. And then we got another super chat by Rico saying, is there any coincidence between the locations of the strikes and the 100% support for the IRGC? Are we suffering areas of low support? Oh, and the percentage of support for the IRGC is there? Oh, so sorry, I read that right. So are you saying that the areas that are being bombarded have more support for the IRGC? I don't think so. I don't think that's I don't think that there is any correlation there. I think the locations that are being, if you look at it, it's mostly southern Iran. So it's mostly about the Strait of Hormuz being freed. And then we saw some strikes in, for example, Tabriz. That is about the bases there that the Islamic Republic used against Jordan. So it's basically four things, right? Southern Iran, basically freeing up the Strait of Hormuz. Southern Iran attacking over there is also eliminating the military infrastructure the Islamic Republic uses against the Arab country south of the Persian Gulf. Tabriz and other places like that is about removing the Islamic Republic's ability to send missiles towards Jordan, given that they're not hitting Israel at all these days. And Tehran and other places is about sending a message to the Islamic Republic that we're serious. So it's not, I don't think it's based on the percentage of support by the IRGC. I mean, the percentage support for the IRGC is minimum anyways. So yeah, good question though, but the answer is no. We got another super chat here saying, hope you're doing well, Armin. Javid Shah. Thank you, Amusina. Amusina. Yeah, Amusina June. Thank you so much. Missed you. And yeah, Javid Shah to you as well. And thank you. There we go. I appreciate that. Let me see. Just let me do one question. So Amber saying, do you think if Saudi Arabia had if Saudi Arabia had a nuclear weapon, they would start threatening people? So Saudi Arabia in this format that it is right now, I mean, they threaten their own people, but they wouldn't threaten civilized, Western countries. They would civilize, they would threaten the Houthis, okay, but not with nukes. I mean, also this colonial enrichment is not for nuclear weapons. That's not what it's for. But no, it's not the issue. The threat with Saudi Arabia is no matter how much the Saudi government itself right now wouldn't do that, the problem is that Saudi Arabia as a country is unstable. And if it falls apart, even if there's a small chance that it will fall apart, then the jihadi Wahhabi or Muslim Brotherhood or other elements within the society will rise up, and now they have access to the enriched uranium, which they could turn into dirty bombs or nuclear weapons. And we got the underdog with celebrating 22 months of memberships. Thank you so much for being with us for 22 months. I appreciate that. Saying, don't trust any religious religious people. Well, I mean, when geopolitics is nothing is about trust. It's about observation. It's about what power people have. It's about who could provide stability, and it's about interest. It's about observing people's interest and the level of influence that they have. Even if you work with somebody, it's not because you're trusting them. It's because you're correctly analyzing their interests, and you can objectively observe without them telling you. Like, it's not because they tell you, it's because you can assess yourself that their interests align with you. So it's never about trust. I thank you for being here for 22 months. Oh, we got more super chats. Let me respond to these. So channel 0071 saying only one bridge / power plant. I want 10 each and 10,000 IRGC. Okay, somebody put channel 007 in charge. This whole thing would have been over by now. Yes. Thank you, channel 007's aggression is very much appreciated. Oh, monkey, when you're commenting in the chat as yourself so people know who's speaking. So monkey is chatting, but he's chatting as both me and himself. So just select your channel so that it comes only as you. So guys, monkey is busy with something. He will be back. Okay. Oh, monkey is happy again. I don't know if he's free now or not. I'll see. Okay, let me see. We got another super chat, but Roman Cabbage saying Amusina June just got back from the mental asylum. Hey, don't insult Amusina. Oh wait, who? You or Amusina? Okay, thank you, Roman Cabbage. And then we got another super chat by Skyscraper Philosopher saying seems Saudi deal needs 2/3 Congress against to cancel. Is that true? Then that might go through. Let me check that for you guys. So guys, we're talking about Saudi Arabia. So the US is granting Saudi Arabia nuclear technology access without requiring diplomatic recognition of Israel, which sparks a serious nuclear proliferation worries across the Persian Gulf. But let me see if it's true that it requires. Yep, that's true. You're correct. Interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you for that information. So under Section 123 of the Atomic Energy Act, nuclear deals take effect automatically after 90 days unless Congress passes a resolution of disapproval, which the president can veto. Okay, so this has a likelihood of passing that. Overriding that presidential veto requires a 2/3 supermajority in both the House and Senate, making it nearly impossible for opponents in Congress to stop the U.S.-Saudi nuclear arrangement. Okay, so this is actually a deal that, unlike selling F-35s to Turkey, this means that this is a type of deal that Congress cannot stop. Well, goddamn, this is not good news. Let's see. Hey, monkey. There you go.
I want to thank you very much for keeping my audience company. You're not quite a monkey. You're a little bit more evolved. I hope that my audience accepts this difference. I hope they're used to it, to not having me around. I was dealing with some family stuff. We don't have to get too much into details, but I want to thank you and apologize to anybody that was expecting, any monkeying around, any monkey business. And we will have more monkey business coming now. I just had to take care of some stuff.
Awesome. All right.
I see we're talking about a nuclear deal here, right? This is a great pressure tactic to get the funds going into no. Okay, you want money for Iran? We'll give you money for Iran. Just don't give them a nuke. I might sign
Right.
this deal. I might sign it. You're gonna give me my money? Can I go into Iran? Yes, yes. Go into Iran. Just don't give
Yes.
nukes to Saudis.
5D chess.
64D Jenga.
Always. Okay. All right, let's see what President Trump says here.
All I'm going to say is we love you. We love your child. And that's what.
Wait, we need to hear the question. I'm going to read the question because we're going to say, what will you say to the families today? Okay, the families of the fallen.
All I'm going to say is we love you. We love your child. And that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And this is another statement from President Trump.
Well,
Yeah, you wanna
on
say
that,
something,
I can
Mickey?
say, like, you see them grow from a little tiny thing until they're all the way over here in college, and he's absolutely right. Like, he's absolutely right. If you're talking to a parent, they'll never stop being your baby. They'll never that never stops. That never goes away.
True. Okay, let me go over here.
We're going to Dover. I guess some of you are going with us to honor our heroes, and they are indeed great heroes, actually. They said, and all of them said very strongly, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them. And one of the hardest things to do, for me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
Okay, so that's going to be happening soon. That's going to be happening soon. Oh, monkey, when you're commenting, can you select the monkey so it's not commenting as both of us? Unless you're saying.
Oh, yeah, there's a little dual thing here. Wait, let me change it to, okay, here I go. Okay, but Aochi, yes, I'm a wrench thrower. I'm a grease monkey throwing wrenches. It was an accident this time. I'll try to have all the business handled before the show or after next time. Thank you.
Okay. We had Pete Hegseth responding to the Senate. And so let's go to this video. This was, so many things were discussed here. And I think it was very revealing about the war with the Islamic Republic. So let's see what's happening here. And also we have General Kane here as well.
Will they put tolls on the strait?
I don't know, sir. That's a decision that's a hypothetical and will depend on what happens.
It's not
in the future.
hypothetical. We got a blockade to stop them.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're talking to a general. I'm pretty sure, like, it's not a hypothetical. I'm pretty sure he understands military stuff more than you. Be more respectful to your military generals.
Will they put tolls on the strait?
I don't know, sir. That's a decision that's a hypothetical and will depend on what happens.
It's not
in the future.
hypothetical. We got a blockade to stop them.
We do, sir. That's
General,
putting
I want you to
economic
look me in
pressure
the
on
eye.
Iran.
I'm not asking you for.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
trying to get you in trouble. I know.
Why are you being so rude to him? He's a general.
To get you in
I think you're
trouble.
oversensitive about interruptions.
Oh, you're.
Yeah, this is not how you speak to a general. He knows, like, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes. Monkey, first of all, whenever I interrupt you, I could hear you. Don't tell me that. I can see every time. First of all, you asked me not to interrupt you, and I've gotten so much better at that. Okay, and I say before when I
I knew this would happen. That was a joke, man. But I knew. Look at it. I was very sensitive. I was very sensitive about that interruption, and it's a little funny. Chat, that was a little funny. Come on, that's a little funny.
Okay, now you're trolling me on my own show. Thank you so much, Monkey. That's very disrespectful. And also,
I
it's not
love
funny.
you though.
No. It's not. This is so
It's a little
hypocritical
bit
of
trolling. It's a little
Can
bit
you stop?
trolling. No, but look, here's the thing.
I don't appreciate it. I don't
That's
appreciate
fine.
it because when I interrupted you, you always go like, why you keep interrupting me? And I stopped doing that. And I respected you, and I always respect you. So you need to show me the same level of respect I show you. But go on, Junior.
Yes, like RFK is on the conservative side. He's on the general side. Like if you, this is very similar to when Lindsey Graham was trying to talk to the person that was being appointed to the Supreme Court, Kavanaugh, and he kept asking the question, "Would you say you've been to a job interview? Would you?" And the guy was certain general, senator, I think. Would you say you've been through hell? Like, he's playing it up. But what he's trying to do is put himself, he's bigging up the general. If you let him go on, I'm pretty sure it's like, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. What I'm trying to say is these people have trying to set up a separate passageway. They are trying to set up a different payment system. This is not hypothetical. They are trying to set up a toll. Like, he is correct. He is technically correct, right? I can respect the person and disagree with him. I can respect the person and say, hold on now. We know that the reality of the situation is what it is here. We know that the reality of the situation, we have seen it progress through weeks, and we have been talking about, they are trying to make a separate route. They are trying to make you go through some kind of their system so they get paid. They are trying to change the toll system. So the thing about the toll system, it's actually not a hypothetical, right? They haven't been able to enact it, but the fact that they're trying, that's not hypothetical. That's a fact. So I have to go with Kennedy on this because he's absolutely right. Whether they'll be able to enact it, that's the difference.
This is not JFK. This is John Kennedy. This is
no, I didn't say JFK. I think I said RFK, but it's a different Kennedy. It's one of the Kennedys. That's like the least important point in all this.
Yeah, I do think that he still shouldn't be talking like, I'm not gonna get you in trouble. Look into my eyes. It is hypothetical. This is
I hate overly formal people. I think it's the people who overcomplicate things because they like verbose, purple, flowery language are the worst people. The people that are good are the people who simplify. The people that are evil tend to overcomplicate, like laborious, over eloquent, I hate that shit.
Okay, wait. What the language that you're saying? I'm suggesting.
I'm saying if he wants to talk plainly because he's talking in front of the American people who are the constituents, and most of them don't go into flowery purple language, and he wants to speak plainly, he should speak plainly because this is for the American people. This isn't for the academics.
I wasn't suggesting that you should use.
I didn't say you were suggesting that.
Okay. So I don't know how that's relevant, but okay.
Hypothetical and will depend on what happens.
It's not
in the future.
hypothetical. We got
it's not hypothetical.
blockade to stop them.
We do, sir. That's
General,
putting
I want you to
economic
look me
pressure
in
on
the eye.
Iran.
I'm not asking you for. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
Like it's like a mom talking to a little kid. Look at me. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not in trouble. Look at me in the eye. Explain what the hell is happening here.
I know your advice to the president is private, but this is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke.
Oh my God.
Now, what happens if we come home and end the blockade?
I love this guy, by the way, but I just think that that's not how you speak to a general.
To the world.
Sir, Iran has the potential to continue to be a threat, and we will need to prepare military
Will they
options
toll
to do
the
that.
strait?
Sir, that's a hypothetical question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, it's not hypothetical. We come home. It's not going to be hypothetical. You know.
So he doesn't know. Like he's basic by saying it's hypothetical. It means that we don't know. We can't know. This is not like something I could just. That's what he means.
That general, and I do too, and I appreciate your discretion, but we're down to it. We need some hard answers and some straight talk.
But he doesn't
What'll
have to
happen,
answer.
Pete?
We know the answer. We've been saying
Senator,
the answer
I
for
would
2 months, 3 months.
I mean, if the general is not answering it, he's saying it's hypothetical.
What's going to happen if we leave, Armin?
What'll happen?
Oh, is it if we leave? Did he say
Yes,
if
that's
we
what he's
leave?
asking.
Might have missed it. Hold on, let me see
Yes.
what I missed.
He's on your. He's saying
they-
what you're saying.
Okay.
He's on your.
Maybe I missed that part.
I think he's smart, and you know why I think he's smart? Because he's saying what you're saying.
Okay, let me see what he's saying because maybe I missed it. So let
Will
me-
they put tolls on the strait?
I don't know, sir. That's a
Okay, so maybe I missed the context. He's talking about if we leave, then you're right. Then he's right. That's not a hypothetical because maybe they edited in a way that I didn't understand. That he's saying if we leave the area, would they pull toll? That would make a lot more sense. Okay, thank you, Monkey. That makes a lot more sense.
What happens if we come home and in
Yes, you're right. I didn't pay attention. I should have paid attention. If we come home, you're right. Then that's not hypothetical. You're right. He's
I
right.
love you
the
too.
blockade to the world?
I love you too. I love you too, Monkey.
Sir, Iran has the potential to continue to be a threat, and we will need to prepare military
Will they
options to
toll
do
the
that.
strait?
Sir, that's a hypothetical question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, it's not hypothetical. We come home. It's not going to be hypothetical.
Yep. I wasn't paying attention. So you're right.
You know that, General, and I do too. And I appreciate your discretion, but we're down to it. We need some hard answers and some straight talk. What'll happen, Pete?
Senator, I would agree with the chairman, but the likely outcome is they would try to impose their will on the waterways in ways
Okay, there you go. That piece gets a better answer.
that
Would
would,
they
the
toll
world
it?
would not like. Call it a toll, call it a fee, call it an exchange, call it control. They would do something that they would try to hold it at issue. Yes, sir.
Would they try to commence development again of a nuclear warhead?
Part of the reason President Trump had to have the courage to do what he did after Midnight Hammer is that they didn't give up their ambitions, even though their nuclear.
Okay, I was wrong. Senator Kennedy is right. The general, Pete Hexet is giving a better answer than the general.
Part of the reason President Trump had to have the courage to do what he did after Midnight Hammer is that they didn't give up their ambitions, even though their nuclear sites had been obliterated. So this is a regime hell-bent on nuclear ambitions, and
Guys,
President
we
Trump's
need
been willing to
straight
go after
answers.
it.
Oh my
We
God.
need straight answers. Do we have the ability to destroy whatever is underneath Pickaxe Mountain?
Senator, a lot of our capabilities are classified, but if anybody in the world can reach anything on God's green earth, it's the United States military, the most powerful military in the world. It's all about options and trade-offs.
All right. I'm going to take a little extra time because others got it, Madam Chair. I won't abuse it.
Do you think, Monkey, that the United States has the ability to, without using tactical nukes, to reach the deepest parts of Pickaxe Mountain? Because Jeff yesterday was saying that the problem with using, because here's what I thought. Even if the bunker busters of United States doesn't go as deep as where the enrichment uranium is in Pickaxe Mountain, I was thinking that we've already seen the Americans use multiple bunker busters on top of each other on multiple rounds of bombing, and they basically use that for digging. That's what they do, right? So just because one bunker buster doesn't reach that deep, what doesn't mean that you can't reach that deep. You just blow it up, and then you come back, and then you look at the hole you made, and you blow it up again, and then you blow it up again until you reach all the way down there. That's how I thought it works. So like, okay, so they should be able to reach it with the bunker busters that they have. But apparently, that's not how it works, according to Jeff yesterday. Is because many times the way that is the mountain, I don't know how the way it works is that you make a hole and then it gets filled from everything around it. So it's not that easy to keep just digging. Like there are areas where you could just keep digging using bunker busters, but it does depend. So the answer is that we don't know.
Well, you would be okay. So what's happening here is even if you destroy the granite, when the dirt falls back in, that's still a dense amount of dirt, right? So to get back down to that depth through that dirt is still difficult. So you would get what you get is diminishing returns. As you put bombs in, like the first one might go real deep because it's made to go through that. But the second one and the third one and the fourth one, it's kind of diminishing return. You can do that, but what would be also necessary is to put in the kind of charge, like you put in one to clear, like its whole purpose, the shape of the bomb isn't to penetrate, it's to clear dirt, to get the dirt out. This is basically the type of engineering that is done by mining. Mining uses explosives to great effect to move dirt out of the way. So that's one way you could do it. I would still propose that the best way to clear pickaxe is to take control of the South, keep moving north, we have a transitional government, and then it just becomes our base. And we have a deal with the transitional government. I think that's the best way forward, right? But if you were talking directly about using the bombs, yes, you can keep going deeper, but it's diminishing return. And you would have to shape that charge to move the dirt out of the way. You can't just put Moab on top of Moab because at some point it's not going to be dependent. It's not going to be like, oh, it can reach 200 plus 200 plus 200. The first one's going to reach 200. The second one might reach 100. The third one might reach 50 because there's more dirt in the way. But the dirt's not going to go away unless after you throw the first one, you get some kind of explosive that is made and designed to clear the rubble out of the way. Something that explodes upwards and outwards to create a shower of all the dirt that was in there and get it literally out of the way. That's the only way you could do it. And you would basically need the kind of engineers that you would employ at a mining site. They would be the one who know more than anyone how to move dirt and debris out of the way with explosives. I wouldn't be like experiencing that, but using mops and GBUs, massive ordnance penetration bombs and Moabs. I may be getting the nomenclature wrong, but that's how you would do it. Like if I was gonna do it, would be like just off the top of my head. There's a guy just spamming all caps over and over there in the chat. I know you don't like that. So, I don't know if you want to take care of that. I know that you consider that very disrespectful, and they've been doing it for a while. Really angry about the Jews.
Okay. Thank you for telling me. I banned him. Thank you.
Yeah. Usually it's allowed to have a difference of opinion, but just spamming all caps is not allowed. Well, what I would do personally is a shape charge after a massive ordnance penetration bomb. Like I would use the GBU, and then I would try to use something like a very heavy bomb, but something that clears the dirt out. Still think regime change is the way to go. Still think controlling the areas and giving it back to the people is the best way to go. Yeah, maybe a mop and a Moab. Combine them and that might work. But if you can close it effectively, you don't need to do all that, because putting in some GBUs in the entrances will definitely close them down.
Right. Yes. And you're right. You could actually just close the entrances until there's regime change. So at least in the meantime, they're not enriching uranium. Just keep shutting down. Just keep here's a easy solution. Just keep bombing the entrances. Shut it down. Remove the exit. It's very easy for the Americans to keep the entrances closed, and just make sure the Islamic Republic has no access to them. And that would not. You don't have to indefinitely do that. Just keep pushing for weakening the Islamic Republic until there's an uprising. But we can't just focus on the uprising and the regime change without worrying about Pickaxe Mountain, because you want to make sure they're not enriching uranium in the meantime. So my issue is, like, you can't just indefinitely keep closing the entrances. You have to deal with the facility as a whole. Yeah, but you don't have to. You could just keep closing the entrances until there is regime change. So these two things could happen parallelly at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I think I said something like that before when we talked about it. Maybe you don't have to go as far as striking anybody that comes close to it. That might take a lot of the resources if we're going all over the land to take out all these IRGC forces. We may not want to concentrate that many forces there, but just have a look at it once in a while and hit it with a GBU. Yeah, that might be a good idea. The other problem with these bombs is that they take a long time to make. That's one of the most most problematic things, is that they take a really, really long time to make.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. We got some super chats. Okay, so yeah, Yael from Jerusalem saying, Shalom. The 3-part documentary series is called Hezbollah Inc. Hezbollah will eventually be the new Islamic Republic and IRGC. Can I post a YouTube link here? It's a fascinating and educational. We need to be a few steps ahead of what will be. Okay, I'm gonna. You can post a link, but if you're not an admin, the link is not gonna work. So maybe I could just find a link. Hezbollah Inc.
I believe
And
someone
then-
in our discussion group brought this up before, and by what I saw of it, it seems pretty solid.
Hezbollah Inc. I'm not Hezbollah. This the untold story. I'm not seeing it. Oh, Hezbollah Inc. There, found it. Is it by Java Discover? Is that what the one? Okay, I think I found it. I'm going to post a link in the chat.
I think it might go into their organizational model and why it gets replicated. I think I haven't seen it. I just skimmed through a little bit of it.
Okay, I put the link in the chat. Thank you for the recommendation. I don't think that Hezbollah will become a new Islamic Republic because they're getting weaker and weaker. And with that, with the Islamic Republic falling, there's no the oil and gas money of Iran would not be able to fund them anymore. I do think that they're going to increase their revenue source from narcotics if the Islamic Republic stops becoming an ATM for them into the their to Iran for them. Like if they lose access to the resources of Iraq and Iran, then they would have to heavily rely on their narcotics revenue. That's what I think will happen. But yeah, they are a huge concern. Go on.
I would add to that people who want the destabilization of the region, like some of the people who have supported Iran, like China's communist regime and Putin's regime in Russia, might try to support actors that bring instability into the region. That the mechanics may be used, or the framework may be used for other things. So it's good to study these things, but I think you're right about Hezbollah as a named entity might be having a lot of trouble continuing.
Yes, or at least at the same capacity that they used to before. At least not that.
Absolutely.
Yes. And thank you, by the way. And then we have CRWMIFY with a super chat saying, U.S. Air Force tankers. Oh yes, U.S. Air Force tankers circling already. Boom soon. Do you think so, Marky?
If there's tankers in the air, that usually means refueling, and refueling means missions.
So something is about to happen. Do you think in the next couple of hours today, based on this information?
I think every day for the foreseeable future.
Let me see if I could find some information regarding that. So U.S. Air Force aerial refueling tankers circling near the Persian Gulf directly indicate that sustained heavy air operations and deep strike campaigns against targets of the Iranian regime are underway or imminent. The massive surge of refuelers give U.S. combat aircraft the endurance needed to conduct continuous long-range bombardments and maintain air dominance across the region. It could be that, but again, just for the sake of considering other alternatives as well, just for the sake of it, it might be. It also might be scaring the Islamic Republic so that they come back so that they behave or come back to the negotiating table in a meaningful way, as President Trump says it. I'm just putting that out there that it could also be a scare tactic, like art of a deal. And thank you for that information. That's good to know that that's happening. Justin with a super chat saying, I believe a few Moabs could indeed do the job. Do you
Well, that's one of the most powerful bombs out there. That's a big bomb. That's a heavy hitter. The only reason we wouldn't use a Moab at pickaxe is because of the depth, right? Like when that goes, it goes to the path of least resistance. So it's not going to go down. It's going to go outward. Now, if you already put a Moab If you already put a GBU down and then you hit it with the MOBAB, you might be able to clear enough rubble to have a clean shot at the next layer of granite. So I understand what he means in that sense. Like I would combine them for sure. But a Moab on its own is going to follow the path of least resistance, and it's going to make the explosion go upward, outward to the sides, basically. And it's a little different than in purpose, than a GBU. I'd combine them.
So this is what I'm seeing. The Moab is an air burst surface bomb with no ground penetrating capabilities, making it completely ineffective against deeply buried underground rock bunkers. To hit heavily fortified underground nuclear sites built by the Iranian regime at Pickaxe Mountain, specialized bunker busters like the GBU-57 MOP are required. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, like I said, like you could use the Moab to clear rubble, and even then you would have to adapt it to let go a little bit into the ground. That would be an adaptation. It wouldn't be as specific as a GBU4 penetration. Like let's say you could change some things into the trigger and fortify the tip so that it can go deeper into ground, into rubble. We're not talking about going into granite, so that you could get it deep into rubble. Then you could use the Moab to clear rubble after you use a GBU. That would be an adaptation that I would suggest to anybody that makes bombs. Hey, you may need one for clearing rubble, one for breaking granite into rubble. But yes, that's correct. The Moab is very strong, but like I said, it's going to follow the path of least resistance, and that's not going to be into the ground.
Right. So Roman Cabbage has a suggestion saying drones to keep IRGC away, use cement for tunnels.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get in there, I'd love to get close enough to do that.
I mean,
we'll
the
break it
easier
up later.
stuff would be just to blow up the tunnels. Then, oh yeah, cement. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The cement, like for example, the one that we saw Israel do for the Hezbollah tunnels. I don't know if that will work with the. I think for big tunnels deep in the ground, just making the whole thing collapse on itself is faster than the tunnels that you're talking about. Hezbollah, those are more surface. Maybe it works. I don't know. Yeah. One thing else you could do is keep destroying their equipment, their digging equipment. Don't just take out the military. Use missiles and drones or whatever to keep destroying IRGC's digging equipment. I think that's also something you should do. Let me see.
The other thing is the seal. Like you further down the tunnel, you might have seals so that the cement will only reach to that door. They would be locked in still, but it doesn't mean that it would reach all the way to the bottom. It would mean that you would have them sealed in cement up to that door. They would be very, very stuck in there if there's anyone in there.
I just think attempting to pour like cement during like active military combat is logistically very difficult. Again, nothing is impossible, obviously, but I don't think it's the most efficient way. It leaves basically the engineering equipment highly exposed. So they could achieve basically the same outcome faster using just, bombs to collapse the mountain rather than going there and pouring cement there.
I mean, it's a fun suggestion, but it would take so much cement. It would take so much cement.
Yeah. Okay, so this is for Monkey. Justin, thank you so much for the super chat. Monkey, do you want to read this one?
Yes, as Monkey, I believe you underestimate the Moabs. A tactical nuke we use for this situation, roughly the same yield. No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you mean. Like, does it have the power to move that much rubble? I think it does. I think it does, but it needs some adaptations so that it can get into the rubble, right? You would use the Moab to go deep. That for sure, right? And once it's deep, you would use the GBU to go deep. Once all that area becomes rubble, then you adapt the Moab so it's not air burst anymore. So you could get at least a couple of meters in there and have that burst take the debris out so that you clear the path for the next GBU. So you're not trying to compress so much rubble. And maybe I'm underestimating how much rubble the GBU can move without being affected by it. That's another thing. Yeah, I may be not understanding how much rubble exactly the GBU can go through, but I do believe there is some kind of limit to that. I do appreciate your
Okay.
super chat though, and I do respect the Moab. Don't get me wrong, guys. I respect the Moab.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for the super chat. Yael from Jerusalem. Oh, thank you, Yael. Basically, guys, if you want to search for the documentary that Yael is recommending, here's the full name for it: Hezbollah Inc., The Brutal Money System of a Shadow Empire, complete series, and end of and I don't know, end EVR documentary, ENDEVR documentary. There you go.
Endeavor.
Okay, that's the full. Oh, Endeavor. Okay, sorry. I don't know when it's all.
This is
captured.
American bad spelling, jujitsu. What I'm
Oh.
doing here. Like
Oh,
Americans,
really?
we do that kind of stuff with words. We put numbers in there. It's atrocious. I know.
Thank you. Yeah, Endeavor is spelled ENDEAVOR. Okay. But I think that's just short for something bigger. Thank you, y'all. Guys, go look at that. You search for that and find it if you want to see a good documentary about Hezbollah. Sean with a question for the monkey, saying, what does monkey think the goal is at this point?
Shauna, thank you, Shauna.
Sean.
The goal,
What did I say?
I think.
What did I say? Did I call
Sean?
Did I call Sean? I'm so. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Shauna.
You've
I
been
love you.
misgendered.
Oh my god, I just Shauna. I made Shauna transition to boy. I'm sorry, Shauna. I don't know. I'm just thinking about so many things. Shauna, I love you. I didn't do this on purpose. I love you. I love you. I don't know why I did that, but go on, Shauna.
I'm sure she's chuckling a bit. I hope your face probably turned a little red right there.
Yes.
No,
yes.
but I think the goal right now is, I think they're trying to take away the power of the IRGC, because if you take this many of things inside, the goal is not longer about the strait. You can say it's about the strait, but it's about destroying anything that can be moved to the strait, any people that can go to the strait. So you're basically taking out the IRGC. I've seen so many strikes so far up that I can't think it's just about the strait. I see so many strikes so far up that I think it's ramping up to that 5x5 that Jeffrey likes to talk about, and I support that plan. I think we should hit every, like if you guys didn't watch The Fugitive, know what I'm talking about here is you're gonna hit every in-house, outhouse, doghouse, guardhouse, police house, like everything. You want to hit everything that is controlled by them, and I think it's a good thing.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Just checking stuff. Oh my god, we got more super chats to respond to. George with a super chat saying, cement takes a lot of water. I think non-toxic smoke would be the best. It would give them a chance to surrender. Oh, so
True.
that yes, but George, we're talking about how to end the facility as a whole. Okay, end the facility as a whole. Not just like, but yes, but if you're trying to get those people to surrender or basically get rid of the people who are operating there, that's definitely effective for sure.
Have you ever heard of dumb bases?
No, what is that?
Okay, it's deep underground military base, DUMB. That's why they call it dumb. It's not really dumb. It's actually pretty smart. It is what these bases are. But we have a lot of experience with that. We have a lot of them in the US, right? And a deep underground military base is a very good thing to have, especially in a place like the Middle East. This is why, if I would say my goal, what is my goal? My goal is having a deal with the transitional government that lets us have a deep underground military base, because the problems that we have with having bases wherever we have bases in the Middle East is that they're easy to hit and they're close to population centers that we don't want harmed by us being there. Now, if we had a deal with the transitional government where we could take over these dumb bases, these deep underground military bases, we would be better able to protect ourselves from attacks. We would keep those attacks. If anybody's trying to attack us because we're the USA and we're in the Middle East, Isfahan, Pickaxe, Natanz, and what's the other one? They're far away from population centers, if I'm not mistaken.
Fardo.
They're those 4 bases, as far as I know, they're pretty far away from civilian centers. So anyone, let's say, Afghanistan went crazy and tried to shoot missiles at those bases, this would be very, very far away from a civilian infrastructure, right? In our case, the ones we have in America are made to withstand nuclear attacks, so they're made to be attacked, right? So there's no problem. Oh, you hit the door. Okay, they'll probably have equipment out there to dig themselves out from the inside. So that's not a big deal, basically. And I would rather that be done. I would rather the people, of course, the people would have to agree to this, right? But we would want to hold them until the transitional government made a decision, just to get the nuclear material and the nuclear material and the equipment out, and then a decision can be made. If the people agree to keep us around, that would be the best place to house us.
Thank you for the super chat. And then Sean, not Sean, but Shauna. Oh yeah, there we go. With a super chat saying Sean is a gender neutral name, so you just dropped a letter. I love you too. Oh, I love you too. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Shauna.
It was a little funny. I like seeing Armin flustered. He doesn't like to be flustered. It makes him a little angry.
No, I love that.
Watching him be flustered, it's so funny.
No. I love that. I love joking around. But just not when I'm trying to be serious, though. But when
He's adorable.
Yeah. So just don't do it when I'm trying to be serious with you, okay?
Okay, now we're joking, so I can send hairy monkey kisses, and it's gonna be okay.
Not kisses,
okay.
just
That's
hugs.
Never
just
okay.
hugs.
That's never
that's
okay.
Never okay. That is illegal. That is illegal. The problem with your kisses is that they're just so wet when you make them. It's just like I have no problem with, but it's just like when you do monkey kisses, I just feel like water, like the way the sound that you make. I just feel like, the water is coming through my camera. That's the sound that you make.
Oh, when they come close, it's like a spring shower.
Yes. See, Sarah thinks Armin has a healthy sense of humor. There you go. Thank you, Sarah. I love you too. I know that. Yes, and Sarah saying no kisses. That's gay. Yes.
Yeah, that is. Oh my God, that's a good point. I guess I can't do it. I'm not gay.
No.
I'll be perpetrating a fraud.
Monkey says he's not gay way too often. I'm starting to get suspicious. All right.
Well, I have a cat. That's as far as it goes.
I have a what?
A cat.
I'm not going to ask. I don't know you. Okay, let's continue with PDX.
Iran is at the weakest point militarily it has ever been in the past decade. Certainly, maybe in 47 years, as they've gathered effectively a terror army. And that terror army was built to try to create conventional capability to defend against a pursuit of nuclear weapons, which meant thousands of ballistic missiles, many of which we have destroyed, others of which they have put inside facilities and hidden in underground facilities. And that's what terror regimes would do. So I acknowledge they still have capabilities, no doubt.
Let him finish. This is good information. See, this is why you should be sensitive about interruptions, because I'm getting good information.
They have destroyed, others of which they have put inside facilities and hidden in underground facilities. And that's what terror regimes would do. So I acknowledge they still have capabilities, no doubt. But the amount of damage that we've done to them over the course of these series of operations has put them in the worst place they've ever been. Iran is.
Oh my God! Who was asking the question? They're not letting him finish. So again, Iran is at the weakest point military has ever been in. I acknowledge they still have capabilities, no doubt, but the amount of damage that we have done to them over the course of these series of operations has put them in the worst place they have ever been. That is pretty obvious. Like does anybody argue with this? I think if you argue with this, you're being very dishonest.
I agree.
All right. Let me see. Okay. Let's go to here. These are another question. Who's asking these? Hexet is answering here. Let me actually see if they have the numbers. Sustained military operations have severely dismantled the Iranian regime's naval assets in the Persian Gulf, air defenses, and missile infrastructure, leaving its overall forces in an unprecedented state of vulnerability. Despite this desperate asymmetric attacks, the structural damage inflicted on the industrial base of the Islamic Republic prevents it from meaningfully restoring its degraded power projection capabilities. Well, that's good news. Okay, let me hear.
Yes.
If you listen to my comments, you would have heard me say how amazing our warfighters are.
I heard failure. The word heard. I heard exactly.
I will
what
tell
you
you
said.
how I use the word
Exactly
failure
what you
because
said.
I use the word failure to their leaders. You, sir, are the failure, not the men and women who are on that front line, not the men and women who hold up their honor with distinction. But if there's a lack
Well, how is he a failure? Explain.
with distinction, but if there's a lack of a winning strategy, they're in harm's way. Their leaders have failed them.
Oh
And
my
that's what's
God.
happening. We have political
They're always like any military operation. They're in harm's way. And how's it? Look at this.
the distinction, but if there's a lack of a winning strategy, they're in harm's way. Their
What do you mean lack of a winning strategy? We just established that they're winning. That the Americans have been winning. Like, how is it not winning when the Islamic Republic has been at the weakest it has ever been? Isn't that winning? That only comes about with a winning strategy.
leaders have failed them. And that's what's happening. We have political leadership. You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need to have leadership. When will you show leadership?
We have leadership.
When will you show
Why don't you
leadership?
show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money? You want to stand up here and talk about the troops? You won't show any political
Secretary
courage
Hegseth.
to actually fund our department because you have Trump derangement syndrome and can't actually commit to anything meaningful. So I put this on you, Senator.
Secretary Hegseth, you have trillions, you have over $1 trillion. You're asking for $1.5 trillion. It's not a question of money. It's a question of leadership and understanding what it takes to actually win.
Political cowardice of Democrats who won't fund the troops.
That was a pretty good comeback, right, Monkey? That was
Well,
pretty
he's
good.
trying to do a political virtue signal about the people and their money, and he's getting out signaled by the reality of the situation. Like his signal is, oh, you're putting the troops in danger, you're a coward. And he's hitting him, look, I need the budget to do these things, and you guys will not make a deal because you're too partisan. This wasn't such a big, I'm going to tell you something that people might not remember. Like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, well, 10 years ago it was a big deal, but 20 years ago this wasn't such a big deal. Budgets got passed all the time bipartisan. In fact, the complaint was that these people argue all the time, but when it comes to pass a budget, they find a way to do it. Now it's the opposite. They can't pass a budget, to save their life without having to go over the deadline. And balancing the budget is important, but I think this is a good cause.
Yeah, the whole point of balancing the budget is so that you have enough money to protect your citizens. The number one function of the government is to provide stability and security for your citizens. You balance everything so that there's enough left behind so you could spend it on protecting people. And this is protecting people. This is the point. This is protecting your citizens from an enemy that wants to end every single one of them, and they're about to get a nuclear bomb. So if you're not spending it on this, then what the hell are you? What's the whole point of you? What's the point of a government? That's the number one function of the government.
Also, why are we paying all this money for this military? What's the point of it? The point of it is stopping these people. That's the point of it. The point of it is not that they be safe and secure at home. That's not the point of this military. The point of this military is securing our interests everywhere. It just so happens that our interests are good for a lot of people. It's good for most of the world because we have some pretty balanced interests. Trade. We want to trade with people. This is voluntary trade. People who want to voluntarily trade agree that this is a good thing. Nations get rich off of voluntary trade, and safeguarding voluntary trade is good for the world.
So here's what it says: you don't have a long-term strategy. I'll read to you, Monkey, what the long-term strategy is being suggested it is. You let me know if you agree that this is the long-term strategy, because he was saying they don't have one. I'm not saying this is correct. I'm just asking you if you guys think this is correct, right? The administration's long-term strategy focuses on systematically degrading the strategic military and nuclear capabilities of the Iranian regime while establishing full maritime dominance across the Persian Gulf by combining maximum economic pressure with a massive military posture. The Pentagon aims to force the Islamic Republic to create regional to cease regional hostilities and ensure open global trade routes. I think this is not long term, it's more of a short term. Long term is basically completely eliminating the threat. I mean, I think that's what the long term strategy should be. Do you agree? But either way, there is a long term strategy. I think the monkey got another phone call. Let me see. We got a while the monkey finishes his phone call. Let's go to Amy.
Oh, I
Amy
accidentally muted myself on the wrong side. I'm sorry. I said yes, I agree. I hit the mute on the wrong side.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Monkey. Amy got gave us a super chat. Thank you so much, Amy. Saying it is called political theater. That person with the sign was a plant from the left, something to show on CNN. Now it is all for TV snippets. The left base has a low attention span. Amy, you're completely right. When these people are speaking, they know that they need a short viral video. So when he's asking it, like he needs to figure out at one point how to stand against Pete Hegseth in a way that it could be clipped and put out there. This is for the mid, like Monkey. Let me know if you agree with this or not, or if I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong. A lot of these Democrats asking Pete Hegseth question, they're in the back of their mind is not like, I need to know what's happening. I need to know some transparency, to get some transparency so that we could hold our officials, we could hold our government accountable to the people, and so that we could have better information to make better decisions. That's not what they're thinking. What they're thinking is, I need to ask a question in a harsh way to be able to make a viral clip go out there so that it could be used for the midterms so I could get reelected. That's what they're thinking. Is that
1,000,000%? They use it for Instagram, for YouTube, for campaign ads. They're looking for that clips. I held them to account when I went to Capitol Hill. I tell them, we want to know what's going on. Hey, what are you doing with the money? Me. As you can see, I asked the hard question. And that's the clip they want. They think they look cool. They don't.
Yes, it works though. To be fair, it does work.
It works in their echo chamber because they want their echo chamber activated. Sometimes everybody in their echo chamber agrees, but just because everybody in your echo chamber agrees, that doesn't mean they're going to get off the couch and go vote. So they're trying to activate their echo chamber with that.
True. And Amy, thank you so much for the super chat. That's actually an important point, Monkey, that you made, because it's not about convincing people. It's about getting people on your own side to go and vote for you, to actually get off the couch and vote for you. That's a good point. People should remember that. That's an important point in politics in general. Just because people are on your side, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get up and go vote for you. Do you start 2 comments? Did you want to read those? Because I see you start them. Oh. You're muted again. You muted yourself. Monkey is.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. You're not highlighting them. I don't know what you're doing, but okay. Let's just move on then. Let's go to.
Okay,
Peter.
what I was saying is that this is kind of like kisses. Like I could just search in your hair for like if there's some little lice in there and eat it up, right? And we can do that to each other. Right, or I have an alternative. I highlighted an alternative that you might like. Fist bumps.
Okay.
Fist bump.
Yes.
Is that better? Okay. Is that a better alternative?
Okay, yeah, but thank you for the gross imagery. That was like that. I'm like,
look, there's a lot of protein there.
Oh my god, it's so good. So gay. All right, let's go here.
Are Russia and China helping Iran? And if so, how?
Well, Senator, as the chairman alluded to, there's definitely adversary alignment, attempts to do so. And there are many ways that we deter that, some of which are, and the depth and extent of it ought to remain classified, and it should. But there are ways in which both of those countries are limiting at different levels, enabling some of the things Iran is doing. Yes.
So that means that they have blood on their hand, that they killed American soldiers. What are we going to do about that?
110%. I'm sick of their, like, this is the triangle of evil. We talk a lot about triangles because there's the IRGC has their triangles, but the triangle of evil right now, as it stands, is Iran, Russia, and China. Not the people, the government. Like the Chinese Communist Party, the Stalin's people in control of Russia, and the IRGC in control of Iran. These three entities cause the highest destabilization and the highest threat to individual liberties and lowering of standard of living on earth. Their influence reached all the way into Venezuela, into Cuba. It's right now in Nicaragua. It's in a lot of places in South America. It's all over the Middle East. It's a very, very destabilizing force. And wherever they go and whoever they're aligned with, their standard of living just hits the floor. The farther you get away from these people and the less influence they have, the higher the standard of living and the more individual rights and freedoms you have. And recognize them as a trinity of evil is very important to the perspective we take.
Yep. What do you think the consequence should be to that?
Personally, what would I want? I want to cut them off from a lot of material. They could like make them their threats about rare earth minerals and this and that. And I think we need to like I think we overestimate how much pressure China can take. I think they are in no position to suffer sanctions. They're in no position to suffer anything. I think they're incredibly weak right now because of things that happen inside China, both through nature, just natural disasters, and their bad management of their economy. China has never been weaker. It is the perfect time to put their nuts in a vice. I think is a call for turn of phrase that can be used. Like this, oh well, that we're powerful, they're powerful, we got to be careful. I mean, I understand that language if you're like the Secretary of State, you got to talk like that. But if we're getting down to brass tack, just those folks talking, I think they're a lot weaker than we give them credit for. It is dangerous because they might lash out, but it has never been a better time to put the squeeze on them. Same for Russia.
Yeah. Okay, let's go here. I'm glad that it's on record now. Both that Pete Hegseth is saying that so publicly, that both China and Russia. Oh, desalination plants by the Islamic Republic, guys. This is such a big deal. Look at this.
Currently, there are reports that we have hit the Banji desalination plant that provides water to about 20 villages or about 10,000 people. And
We have
also
been.
damaged.
Wait, hold on.
Currently, there are reports that we have hit the Banji desalination plant that provides water to about 20 villages or about 10,000 people, and we also damaged the desalination plant at Keshim Island. Were these deliberate targets by the United States?
So I'm not aware of those as being particular targets, nor am I aware of those reports, and I'll have to go back and get back to you on that.
If you could, I'd appreciate that. You are aware that infrastructure that civilians rely on to survive is not generally considered legitimate military targets?
And unless they're dual use, right, Minky? Unless they're dual use.
Unless they're dual use, and I think that's very possible in those cases.
They are. I think what they're talking about. I do think what they're talking about is the desalination plants that were used for IRGC purposes. That's what I think what they're talking about. Like, I'm not sure though, but we have to double check. But they are, we know United States never targets any civilian infrastructure unless it's dual use. And I don't know why he didn't say it. He should, if he wanted to be honest, he would have to say unless they're dual use. He should have said that.
Survive is not.
Can I ask you a question about this?
Target.
Yeah, go on.
Is it because I've heard this, but I haven't talked to anyone about it, that there were actually water shortages and drought, but somehow the IRGC and their military assets had water. So if this water is only being used for the military, you can't consider it civilian use. If it was civilian use, the people would have water. They don't have water because this isn't being used for the people. It's being used for the military, right? I'm not saying that that is this case in particular, but that is a possibility that we need to keep in mind.
That is definitely for sure. Desalination facilities can be classified as dual use if they directly support armed forces, and we know that they do. We know the ones that they do. So, I mean, that's what I've heard. Like, I mean, of course they do. Like, obviously they are. IRGC personnel are always priority with all resources. So if the Iranian people don't have water and there's some water, it goes to IRGC first. Everything goes to IRGC first. So just by knowing how the Islamic Republic operates, we know that they're dual use.
I think they'd want some specifics, but I think specifics could be found, right? Like, I think if we went into intel and we went into reports from the past, we would find that the people were angry because they weren't getting any of the water and it was being diverted to military assets. Like, I think, this is just me extrapolating. This is me basically brainstorming. But I think for something like that, to make that attack, you would need a more specific case scenario, and I think it could be found. That's where I would go with that.
Yeah. Isn't it true that the desalination facilities are also, I don't know, somehow tied and used for power generation? Isn't that usually the same? Like, aren't they usually go side by side? So are they
nuclear?
Because I heard like desalination plants are usually next to power plants. I don't know if why, but is that the case? Does anybody in the chat know? Because sometimes, yeah, go on.
I think I heard Jeffrey talk about this. Some plants, some nuclear plants, for the cooling, they use saltwater reactors. I'm not sure that they take the water directly from that. Maybe from some of the cooling, but as you boil it, you basically take the salt out.
Right. So the desalination. Okay. So, sorry. I thought you were finished. Go on.
No, I was finished. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I just looked it up. So the desalination plants are co-located with power plants to use waste thermal energy and directly tap high voltage power for energy intensive water purification processes. Okay, so this is basically shared industrial infrastructure, allows facilities across the Persian Gulf to maximize efficiency by recycling cooling water and eliminating energy distribution waste. So that means that a lot of these, so if you're hitting power plants, so let me read this. Desalination facilities function as dual use infrastructure when they directly generate power and fresh water for military bases, radar installations, and industrial supply chains run by the Iranian regime. By serving as essential power and life support nodes for armed forces across the Persian Gulf, these facilities frequently meet the military criteria for dual-use target classification. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's basically like I gave the Walmart version, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So there you go. That's just because it's a desalination, it doesn't mean that it's not a legitimate target. You know what's not a legitimate target? The desalination plants and in the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf because they are not dual use because they don't have IRGC.
They're not using it to fabricate weapons. They're not using it to make the steel to make rockets. Like it's not in their production chain even to do any of that. If anything, it goes in to make pipes to get oil out.
Right. Okay, let's watch this.
Those as being particular targets, nor am I aware of those reports, and I'll have to go back and get back to you on that.
If you could, I'd appreciate that. You are aware that infrastructure that civilians rely on to survive is not generally considered legitimate military targets?
Sir, as you know, we have a robust process which considers a target that goes through a system that looks at a variety of considerations to include what you're alluding to around both purely civilian or dual use targets. I have trust and confidence in CENTCOM that they're looking at the range of those things on a daily basis.
It sounds like you are assuring us that we will, the United States, not target, even in retaliatory sense, infrastructure that is generally considered to be primarily for civilian survival.
So, as I mentioned, we have a robust process, and you know, we have the most professional military force.
It'd just
in
be
the world
nice
that
to have
follows
you
the
say
law.
yes, because this
That
is
follows the
international law.
Yes,
If
sir,
you
it follows
understand
the
the
law.
international law.
I do, sir. I've got a
Okay.
lot of lawyers that help me understand.
Thank.
This is so crazy. Like, is the question, are you asking whether the United States goes and just hits civilian infrastructure to hurt the civilian? Like, is that what you're asking? Like, I mean, anybody who knows anything about how the U.S. military works, they know that there's like so many lawyers working all the time, checking everything. And you know, like, it's such a complicated and sophisticated process that the U.S. military has, checking these things all the time, evaluating it every single second, like, and they have to do it very fast before every single before major decisions are made, and they have that process built in. So we know that to be the case. So I don't understand the point of the question here. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing
I can
something.
steel man it.
Go ahead.
Okay, the way I would steel man it, he's not being nasty. He's just kind of like, you know, pushing you toward, just give me a yes. You know, I just need a yes. When they ask me, I'm going to say, look, I asked. They told me yes. This isn't hitting civilian people. I'm just like, he may be a Democrat or a Republican, but when it comes to like asking the question, they kind of have to ask that question, and they have to dumb down the question for like the regular people. So I've seen some nasty Democrats. I've seen the way they get yelly. They start, you know, making a lot of, like, I didn't sense that from him. He was kind of calm. He was pushing for a particular answer, but he wasn't like screaming it. And it could be like, look, I got to get a yes from you just so I can go tell these people. And if I don't get a yes, and if I get a maybe, if I don't get like a straight shot answer, you know, I can't tell them, look, I asked them straight up, are we hitting primarily civilian forces? And they said, are we avoiding that? And they said, yes, we are avoiding primarily civilian targets. And that's why I can come to you, my constituents, even if you're Democrats, I can say, look, we're not hitting civilian targets, okay? This is a way that Democrats can more sane Democrats can have weapons against the more crazy Democrats. Sometimes I like the crazy Democrats because they can't get elected in the long run. But you know, I don't even know if this guy's a Democrat. I don't know that senator in particular, but I don't think he was being nasty about it. I think I've seen some people be nasty about it. That's my steel man. I could be wrong, but that's the best steel man I got.
Yeah, no, somebody else was saying the same thing, saying he asked, so this is Insomaniac saying he asks so people can hear the answer, not because he needs to know the answer. He's clearing the air. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, guys.
Putting it on the record, they say Insomniac. I hope you get some sleep.
Yes, go get some sleep.
Not right now, though.
Not right now.
Wait till we're done.
Yes. George gave us a super chat saying, tangent to the topic, the tunnels would make great freshwater storage facilities if they can be properly decontaminated. Solid granite makes them beautiful reservoirs. I don't know if you need water to be held down that deep. I mean, I'm not an engineer. Maybe you're right. I just think like, wouldn't it be too much to put it like you? And also, wouldn't it be better to put something down there that needs protection? I don't know.
On our dumb bases have that stuff. They have like, that's one of the perks. Like that's probably some of what he's referencing. We had like we even have had like strategic cheese reserve that we keep in caves, right? So we keep a lot
I
of
see.
stuff in caves. So there is a possibility to do that, and because of the terrain and the like, imagine in a peace situation where if there is ever a drought, we're like, hey, local people, we got your back. We got some reservoirs here. The U.S. took over the space, and if you guys ever need some water, we got you. This is the same stuff we drink. It's pretty safe. If you ever need it, like let's say there's a town nearby that needs some help, bam, we got you. So in a best case scenario, yeah, that is a possibility.
Interesting. Did not know that. Hold on, let me get to the next video. Okay, thank you for the super chat, George. Okay, let's see what P-Texit is saying here.
Well, let me move on. On May 5th, you claimed that Iran doesn't control the strait, and you said that there was a, quote, powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. If that was true, how did Iran shrink ship traffic in the strait to a trickle again last week?
We pushed almost, I believe, between 400 and 500 million barrels of oil under the nose of Iran over the course of Project Freedom, which went underground, which I acknowledged after we did so covertly because it was more effective to do so quietly than to do so publicly. So we've been in control of moving traffic through there for quite some time. Will they retain the ability to recklessly shoot at commercial shipping? And that's what happened. We had a ceasefire, and then they shot at commercial shipping.
Well, you
recklessly
also said, well, let me move on.
Wait, does she not know that? Let me see her question one more
Well,
time.
let me move on. On May 5th, you claimed that Iran doesn't control the strait, and you said that there was a, quote, powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. If that was true, how did Iran shrink ship traffic in the strait to a trickle again last week?
We pushed almost,
Well, I mean, didn't you see how much oil went through the Strait of Hormuz when people thought that no ships were going through? Eventually we learned that they were just turning off their transponders and millions of barrels of oil was going through anyways. I don't know if this is happening here.
She's
right
pretending she doesn't understand.
So, I mean, that's what we saw after, even though we fought. I mean, so let me see.
You were right before.
Oh.
She's just trying to get the clip of that question. They're just going to get the clip of that question. Maybe use a clip of him being frustrated about something in a completely different part of the hearing and clip it together and make a campaign announcement.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Islamic Republic didn't manage to block the Strait of Hormuz ever completely, because all the estimates suggested that if they ever were able to do that, oil prices would be reaching like $200 per barrel levels. That's when you actually see. That's what you're supposed to see if they ever get to that. What is it right now? We're back at 84. What? Are you kidding me? Okay, I thought we were getting to 90 or something. Okay, this is good. So
Well,
84 is not a number. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, what I was thinking is that this may also be a result, because the trickle has kind of gone down fairly quite a bit. I think this is also a result of a lot of offshoring and friendshoring, like onshoring. Like we are, trying to ramp up. I think we're up to 20% more than we were in other places, and we're opening up new places. Now, granted, some of these new places, they won't be operational for a while, but the ones where we're ramping up, it's already going. We're just ramping up production. We're just selling more. We're just increasing the output, right? And increasing the output, digging new wells where we already have equipment, and it's having an effect, right? There are places where you can stem the flow to a lower output, and sometimes they do this because they have hippie tree huggers in the government, and they want, oil is bad, let's do less oil digging, but they got to keep it open, because if they don't, it basically goes bad. I think they're just increasing flow and opening drilling sites in places where we already have equipment, especially in Alaska, Argentina. I think the other place was Venezuela. and there's a few more. I think they're opening up in the northern UK, where they already had some places that they're opening up. I'm not 100% on it, but what I'm adding to this is there might be help from outside the Persian Gulf to keep those prices where they are.
Yeah. Also, what people need to understand is that even if they create some periods of time where there's a slowdown of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, the oil tankers pile up a bit in the Persian Gulf. But then as soon as it gets open, they all just get released and they supply, like they oversupply all of a sudden the oil markets. And you don't lose that. You know what I mean? It's not like, because here's what the market is looking at, right? The market is looking at, okay, the oil is not going through the Strait of Hormuz, but it's piling up in the Persian Gulf. So they know that at some point there's going to be an opening and all of that is going to come and get released back into the market. Right. And then so they see that as it's not like it's going to just stay there forever. So when the pricing is being when people are buying oil in the market, they keep that in mind, that it's not like every oil that is not passing through the Strait of Hormuz on a daily basis is going to evaporate and we're losing them. It's still there. And the traders keep that in mind, that at some point they're going to get access to that. So that's another thing to keep into account, because all of the advantage that you thought that you had with closing the Strait of Hormuz, once it gets open and all of a sudden comes rushing out, you lose all the advantage. And because the market saw the previous blockade eventually led to all of that oil being released, they're thinking that, well, at some point the oil that is piling up in the Persian Gulf, at some point that's going to get released as well. So that's why I think the market is taking that into account. Does that make sense, Mikey, what I just said, or did I make it?
It does make sense. It does make sense. And there's also other buyers out there, like China. There was some talks about China being angry with the close of the Gate of Tears, Bab el-Mandeb, because they get some of the oil from Saudis out that pipe that they've kind of been offsetting there. I heard this in a report, I think it was by Fox, and they're losing a lot of support in a lot of places for the things that they're doing. Even that triangle of friends, that evil friends that they have, there's a lot. They're losing a lot of friendships and a lot of support, because the way to, I would imagine that the same people that are stuck there, that would mean that China's probably getting some of their oil right there from when they bunch up there, and then all of a sudden get released. And as soon as they get to China, that means their demand from the outside, even though it's decreased a lot, it would decrease even more and make the price go down. You understand what I'm saying? Like as soon as they get out, they're probably trying to offshore that too. They're offshoring and tying it all up, and that's going to keep it low.
Right. Okay, let me see another person that is probably yelling here. She looks like she's about to yell. I don't know what this is going to look like.
It's true. Was it obliterated or wasn't it? What's the status?
The nuclear sites under Midnight Hammer were obliterated, but Iranians foolishly continued to attempt to pursue nuclear capabilities, which is why we destroyed their defense industrial base and so many of the other capabilities to ensure they can't get to a nuclear weapon. So we're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials.
No, we're
and
not.
That's fine.
So listen to this. You also.
Whoa! That's what we said. He called her out. There you go. That's what we said. You were trying to make campaign commercials, those viral videos. Look at this one more time.
Capabilities to ensure they can't get to a nuclear weapon. We're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials.
No, we're
and
not.
That's fine.
So listen to this. You also
No, we're
say that you made the missile.
Oh, Monkey, I saw your mic open. You wanted to add something?
I wanted to add that the way he clocked it and the way I clocked it is because at the start, when she takes off her glasses, it's like she wants her face seen for the commercial. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of performative. You're like you know, the posing that comes with the question is not just the regular asking question. There's a little bit of a performance, and there's a little bit of posing, and there's a little bit of placing yourself for the camera that happens, and that's how they kind of know, oh, okay, I know what you're doing. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious. Like if you get used to these guys, if you don't know them, you don't know. But the way she goes, takes the glasses off and makes the
I don't know.
the suggestions, I think it's very performative.
I wouldn't know, but maybe you're right here.
It's true. Was it obliterated or wasn't it? What's the status?
The nuclear sites under Midnight Hammer were obliterated, but Iranians foolishly continued to attempt to pursue nuclear capabilities, which is why we destroyed their defense industrial base and
Okay.
so many of the other capabilities
let's
to
take-
ensure they can't get to a nuclear weapon. See, we're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials.
No, we're
and
not.
that's fine.
So listen to this. You also say that you made the missile program, quote, destroyed and made combat ineffective. Quote, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles has been functionally defeated and destroyed, and that the missile program, existing stockpiles were depleted and decimated, almost completely ineffective. So why are there missiles left to hit Jordan and
Because he said almost. Didn't he say? You just read it. Just read your notes.
program, existing stockpiles were depleted and decimated, almost completely ineffective. So why are there missiles?
Yeah. Also, it was almost completely destroyed, and the destruction was not the missile cities. A lot of the destructions was the entrances to the missile cities, which means that during the Operation Epic Fury, a lot of them were a vast majority of them were completely inaccessible. Just because that was the case during Operation Epic Fury, that doesn't mean that's going to be the case indefinitely.
Left
Look,
to hit Jordan?
Sorry, go on.
What I would say to that is, like, everybody here, I want to put this in a context that everybody can understand. We've all had a car crash. Like most of us have had a car crash. Sometimes that crash is going to leave that car severely ineffective. You're not going to be able to use it, right? But we know, like, if we're talking about how it's like that, look, this is ineffective. It's non-functionable. I can't use it in any way. So you may have to may have to pull the chassis, take the engine out, change the suspension out. There's a lot of things you do to get it working, but you can't get it working again. So to say, oh, the car was not, it wasn't crashed, it wasn't ineffective. Yes, it was, but they repaired it.
True.
And result in the loss of life of our brave men and women.
As we stated from the beginning, the Iranian defense industrial base is effectively gone, but they do have underground facilities because they're the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and they've spent 47 years trying to hide their missiles under mountains, just like their nuclear capabilities, because they would like to get a nuclear weapon to wield it against us.
Of the war to believe, because it's either over or it's not over. It's within 2 weeks or it's not 2 weeks. We have no missiles or we have missiles, and that consternation is why so many New Yorkers are perplexed, stressed out, and find this war to be incredibly unpopular because they don't understand the choices that the president's making. They don't agree with those choices. Secretary Ron.
You're trying to make something that is nuanced to seem like it's more simple in a dishonest way. So you're simplifying it not for understanding, you're simplifying it for confusing. But there's obviously simple, like, it's over. Yes, that operation is over. Is the war with the Islamic Republic over? No, it's not over. But you see what she's doing. She's basically taking words out of context and sewing it together to build her own narrative. And she's basically using the fact that this whole operation was there's a lot of nuance to it. And a lot of people who are paying attention, wouldn't be able to go into all of that nuance to paint a picture that makes it seem it's all very ridiculous. That's what I think she's doing.
Well, she's trying to conflate the beginning with where we are now. Like, I bet she was one of those, oh, we should stop and make a deal. Then we stopped and make a deal. And then she's going to say taco. And now we started again. And she's going to say, well, I thought you said this was over. It's like, well, no, we're talking about there was a phase, and then there was another phase, and then there's another phase. Another thing that I wanted to highlight is something I'm hearing from the chat over here, that she's scared of being challenged by AOC in New York. I'm not sure that this is absolutely true, but I'm going to take Farsad's word for it, and I'm going to thank Farsad K from watching from Twitter, all the people out on Twitter. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We're taking your thoughts into consideration. I think he could be right, maybe because she did say New York, so maybe AOC wants to, I think she's in Congress now, right? If she wants to become a senator, she has to challenge somebody. So that might be what's going on here.
So yes, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Here's an example I give. Let me know if this is a good example. Okay, imagine if I'm studying for my exam, and the night before, and then I'm done. I'm like, okay, I'm done studying. I think I'm ready, and then I go to sleep. And then I finish my exam, and then these are the finals, and now I'm going to study for the next exam. And I get up, I'm going to study, and you come to me like, oh, Armin, yesterday you said I'm done studying. You were lying. Where are you studying right now? I'm like, okay, I'm studying for my next exam. Like, I cut you. There's a contradiction there. You said you were done studying. It's kind of like that. Is that a good example?
It's a nerdier example than the car fixing, but you know what?
Okay.
I like nerds. Nerds are great.
But does it make sense? That's what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's absolutely valid. It's absolutely valid.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody's saying I had a girlfriend like that once, Armin. Or like that, like who? Like the senator? Okay. Okay.
He survived.
Okay.
He's a survivor.
Yeah. Yes. So let's actually look at the video that shows that the whole point of what the Senate hearing was about the budget for the military here.
I've come today to ask for your help and your support. America's armed forces need $1.5 trillion to meet the military challenges of the future. This supplemental is a part of that. And to be allowed to use this capital to pay for military personnel, operations, and maintenance expenses, and accelerate investments on critical technologies, as the Secretary just mentioned. It is critical that we stay ahead of our adversaries, and we must have the funds before we're out of time. I've come today to ask for your help.
So yeah, basically, let me just tell you, existing defense spending is largely absorbed by inflation, routine maintenance, and personnel overhead, leaving little margin to replace depleted missile stockpiles or upgrade industrial supply chains. The $1.5 trillion request is designed to pivot the military away from legacy maintenance towards mass procurement of next-generation drones, missile shields, and high-tech weaponry required for modern warfare. I hope they pass it. Do you think they will get it?
Oh yeah. They're gonna hold it up. They're gonna make some stock bets on whether it's gonna go up or not. They're gonna act like they're not gonna do it, bring the price a little low, buy the stock, then approve it.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna give something that the monkey has been talking. I'm gonna play something that the monkey has been talking about for a while. I know monkey. I need to use the washroom, so I'm going to play it. I know you like to pause and play, but just give me a second because I need to use the washroom. Okay. I know you're very passionate about. You're very passionate about.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Okay. Here we go.
Mamdani just posted this. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. I'm going to play this. I'll be right back while you guys listen to him, and then the monkey will respond to him.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment to you.
That's not fair. That's not fair. That's cruel and unusual monkey punishment. That was very cruel, very bad. I ask that the Ask Haviv International clip be played after this. We could get into what so much of the bullshit. That was all lies. That was basically all lies. But I think as a balance, we should play a little Ask Haviv, because he was right. I'm gonna even throw it in the chat for you guys. Ask Haviv understands the International Criminal Court better than Mandami. So you guys should take a look at that video and have it like in your back pocket. You have it there because he's fantastic on it. This guy is full of shit.
I have an idea. How about we don't? I'll respond to just one part of it, because the part that annoys me the most. Okay, but the rest, I will send you the link to this, monkey, and this will be a teaser for your show. Would you play this on your show today, so I could put the link in the chat for people? So that would you play this on your show? So just a teaser, maybe.
I
for
would slowly dissect it. Yes. Okay.
You would slowly
now you're making me a happy monkey. Yeah.
Happy
yeah.
monkey.
I'll slowly dissect it.
So guys, this is an opportunity to tell you guys a monkey's gonna go slowly dissect this video piece by piece later today on his channel. I'm gonna put the link to the monkey's channel in the chat. Okay, go subscribe to him. He's gonna dissect it piece by piece and destroy this Marxist Muslim Shia, terrorist sympathizing.
But that went by pretty quick, and he said so much garbage so quick.
So much.
I would think it's still like, after you say your thing about it, it would still be nice because there's new people every day, right? There's new people every day that might have not seen the great Haviv talk about this. So maybe later, after this.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll play it on your show. Play it on your show so people watch it, because I need to finish the show soon. So yeah, but that is a great clip. I do agree with that. But play that again for them on your show.
I'm gonna put it in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Thank you, Monkey. Thank you for recommending that. It's a good video. But also explain it again on your show for people who don't know. But I just quickly, I haven't watched this. I want to see what Nick Fentis thinks about all of this with the whole arrest thing. Oh yeah, actually, let me respond to one part of it. That, Monkey, I want you to bring up, look into it and bring up on your show as well. When he's saying starving the children in Gaza, this is such a disgusting lie against Israel. Such a disgusting lie, because during the war against Hamas in Gaza in response to October 7th, Israel is responsible for moving more calories into a war zone than ever. They broke a record in moving calories into a war zone. Israel that constantly gets accused of starving the Gazan children, managed to move more calories into Gaza than any military in the middle of the war, any war. And that's it's disgusting. Not only that, before and after, they kept on pumping water into Gaza, subsidized by Israeli taxpaying money. So they subsidize the waters that the Gazan people drink. Not only that, they had a vaccine program, even in the middle of the goddamn war for the people in Gaza. They went in and vaccinated people. That's the country, that's the military that gets accused of doing a genocide of people in Gaza. It's not just that it's a lie. It's that you decided to find the point that is the farthest away from the truth, the farthest point that you could pick, and that's what you're presenting as reality. It's vile. It's disgusting. It's evil. These people are evil.
As I understand it, like in Iran, instead of what they told them is, "What are you, a life lover?"
Yeah. Natalie
go
is-
kiss the thing. What are you, a life lover? Over there, they got all the treatments, right?
Yes. And Natalie is framing it very, very well, saying nobody else feeds his enemy and then gets called genociders. Yeah, exactly. It's so unfair. Like, it's so the way that the propaganda against Israel is just so unfair. It's just, I don't know, it's disgusting and evil. And speaking of evil, let's look at this guy, what he's saying about all of this Mamdani Netanyahu stuff.
Our featured story, we're talking all about the mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, who has now totally walked back his promise to arrest Bibi Netanyahu that he made during his campaign for mayor last year. Good boy. That's right. Walk it back. No balls. In case you missed it
He's not what he can't do it. He's a freaking mayor. How is he going to arrest people?
last year, when the DSA candidate Zohran Mamdani was running for mayor, a big part of his campaign is that he promised if Netanyahu entered the United States of America, more likely than not, in New York City, where the United Nations is headquartered, Mamdani said that he would enforce the ICC and ICJ arrest warrants against Netanyahu.
Somebody's saying, why seriously do we watch this asshole? We try to look at the leading people within within who are against us. We're at war. We're trying to listen to what our enemy is saying and what they are thinking. This is how we do war effectively, by understanding our enemy. That's why we listen to Mamdani. That's why we listen to this. We listen to mullahs, we listen to commies, and we listen to the woke Reich, because these are our three enemies to understand where they're at, right? Know that enemy.
Yes. I also wanted to point something out. Like, let's say people in America understand what an HOA is a homeowners association, right? A homeowners association has some powers within that neighborhood, right? So what they're trying to do is say that the International Criminal Court, which is kind of like an HOA, conglomerate, has power, right, to tell you how to mow your lawn, even though you're not part of the HOA, when you go to someone else's neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? They're trying to give you a ticket. Like, how are you going to tell me if I'm not part of your international court system? I didn't sign your accords. America didn't sign the international court. We're not a signatory to that. Russia is not a signatory to that. China is not a signatory to that. We're not in your little club. China, Russia, US, India is not in that little club. There are 23 Islamic nations, 24 if you count Palestine, which you really can't. It doesn't have any borders, so you can't really count it as a nation. So 23 Islamic nations that cry about the decisions that the International Criminal Court made. Oh my God, he's an international court criminal. Did you sign on to that agreement? No, none of these Islamic nations that are screaming about this decision are signatories or ruled under the International Criminal Court. And I assure you, if an International Criminal Court said that Saudi Arabia or Qatar or Oman or United Arab Emirates or Turkey or Lebanon had committed some kind of crime, the first thing they're going to say, we didn't sign up for that. If you accuse Russia, China of some kind of international court crime, you know what they're going to say? We didn't sign up for that. So why is that not being brought up when USA says we didn't sign up for that? In fact, we went to war so that we may not be ruled from the outside since 1776. We did it again in 1812. We don't obey anyone outside our borders. We may have some deals we make, but we reserve the right to, be ruled by ourselves. You can't rule us, judge us, court us from the outside. You could judge us. It's not going to lead to nothing. We're going to judge you back and confiscate your accounts, which is what happened to that guy.
You
The
know,
guy
that's
who
a
made the
good point.
decision, that guy got he's screwed.
So that's a good point because Nick Fuentes is lying here. He's saying that Mamdani walked it back. The reason why he's motivated to suggest Mamdani walked it back is because Mamdani wants to say that everybody is controlled by the Jews except me. So like, oh, you walked it back. Good boy. The Jews got you as well. Good boy. He's lying to you. He wants to be the Jew hater in chief. He doesn't want competition. Mamdani is competition to his Jew hating. He doesn't like that, right? So he's basically trying to suggest to his audience that, look, these other Jew haters, they eventually submit to the Jews. But what's actually happening here is that Mamdani made a fake campaign promise, and because there's no law that makes that enforceable, he now has to find a way to appease his base that is like, oh, you told us you're gonna arrest Netanyahu, so what's happening? That video that you saw we playing at before this is him basically trying to virtue signal an anti-Netanyahu video as a way to make up for the fact that he's not going to arrest Netanyahu, not because he doesn't want to, but because he can't. But this mother tucker is trying to use this as an opportunity to suggest that he's walking it back, as if he could have arrested him anyways to begin with. You see, they're both lying to you.
Well, the only pushback I have is that I don't think he wants to be the top Jew hater. I think he wants to be the top hater.
True.
I have a clip for you later that I want you to see. I'm going to send it to you now. We may not be able to see it on the show, but I think it is exquisite. It is him going full extreme anti what we would call goy.
Yes.
Where he is lining up with Rabbi Mizrachi and saying, I you know what? I think we're seeing eye to eye.
We'll watch that. Don't. We'll watch it tomorrow. We'll watch it tomorrow. Let's watch that tomorrow. I'll add that to our list. Good call. But let's watch.
Okay, I won't watch it on my show either.
Okay, let's watch it. I won't watch it then as well. I'll watch it with you then. First time. I know it, but I know what you're talking about. Okay, but let's continue.
Mamdani said that he would enforce the ICC and ICJ arrest warrants against Netanyahu and arrest him. He promised that during the campaign, and he said it repeatedly and doubled down on it. And even as recently as a month ago, he said that if Netanyahu sets foot in New York City, he's going to get arrested. Well, today, Zohran Mamdani put out a video and said, I actually can't do that. Mamdani said, I have explored every possible legal remedy, and we've been...
He already knew that before. He didn't need to. He knew that that's not within his power. He's lying.
Investigating the law and trying to figure out how we could do it, but we can't. We don't have the legal authority to arrest him. And so what is he doing now? He's begging Donald Trump to arrest Netanyahu instead. He concluded the video after saying, gee, guys, turns out I can't arrest Netanyahu. I don't have the authority to do that. It would be illegal. It's a federal matter. He then resorts to...
Then why did you make that campaign promise?
Begging Trump. begging Top Goy to arrest Netanyahu, because that's going to happen. And Trump quickly went on Truth Social and said he would never in a million years arrest Benjamin Netanyahu because, of course not. Why would he? They're best friends. So Netanyahu will be returning to the United States in September at the very latest. He might come here before even that, but at the minimum, at the latest, he will be coming here in September for the United Nations General Assembly, as he always does, and he will walk right on in. He's going to stroll right past airport security, U.S. Customs,
of course,
however it is when you're a head of state. And he's going to stay right in Zohran Mamdani's New York City.
Go Cope. I mean, we should use this as an opportunity to make fun of Mamdani, though, when Netanyahu comes in New York.
The only thing I fear about Netanyahu coming to New York is the New Yorkers trying some crazy stuff. That's what I'm more afraid of than anything to do with the police. In fact, I started a comment by someone, our friend from Twitter, Sohan could run for governor or Senate and win in New York. That's a sobering thought right there. That's not good. I think it's possible. I don't think he's crazy to say that though. And
At least he could never be
that's a problem.
president. That's a good thing. That's a good thing he could.
Oh
never-
yeah, that's true. That is very true.
because he's not born in the U.S., so he can never be president. By the way, I think Farzad is an Iranian name. Am I right, Farzad? So
It could be.
درود به شما. دمتون گرم. ممنون ازتون. Okay. All right, Monkey. This was great. I think we covered a lot of this. Guys, this was a really good 3-hour coverage of everything important, almost everything important. But we're going to continue. This is on our Liberty Politics. We're going to discussion group, which is going to happen in 1 hour from now. So make sure you either come watch it with us. Join the Liberty Politics discussion group. The link is in the QR code in the top left. The link is also in the description, or just come watch our discussion, which will be broadcasted live on Liberty Politics. So make sure you subscribe to Liberty Politics and hit the bell notification. So in 1 hour when we go live, basically we're going to see what our community thinks about the most recent developments, and people also bring up their own topics over there. And Monkey, will you be there today?
I believe so. Yes, I took care of everything this morning. I should be free for the afternoon, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow so much. You're gonna love that video. It's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be hilarious. And yeah, I think he wants to be top hater. It's gonna be good, guys. You got to come back tomorrow morning, too. And we also have a show with Ali at night, and I'm gonna have a show later at 9. So you guys just stick around as you see the growth of the Armin News Network, the Liberty Politics News Network. At some point, it's going to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're going to find somebody talking about something, and you're going to love it.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you. All right, guys. We'll see you soon in 1 hour. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainian, Cuba Libre, Long live America, Javid Shah, Ayande Iran.
Iran.
I love doing that.